My child, I'm stepping into your moment right now, not with a suggestion, but with a command from heaven. It's over. Stop. Stop running. Stop pretending you're fine. Stop dragging dead weight into a future I've already prepared. What you're about to hear carries the sound of finality and the beginning of freedom. I'm not whispering anymore. I'm roaring through every word. This message has your name written all over it. And if you'll stay, if you'll lean in until the very last second, something in you will break, shift, and resurrect. This isn't a video. This is a visitation. And before you reach the end, I will say something that changes everything. Don't scroll. Don't pause. Don't miss what I'm about to reveal. This is your turning point, and heaven is watching to see what you do with it. My beloved child, it is over. The endless cycle that kept you bound has reached its finish. I saw how the days stretched into nights and the nights into weary mornings where you thought nothing would ever change, where you felt trapped inside a repeating loop of sorrow, fear, and silent struggle. I saw you whisper, "Will this ever end?" And I heard the trembling in your voice, the ache hidden behind your smile, the weight you carried while trying to convince everyone else that you were fine. Heaven took note of every sigh, every prayer that slipped from your lips like a fragile ember in the dark. You thought those prayers went unnoticed. But child, I gathered them, every single one, storing them in the chambers of eternity, waiting for the hour when I would declare, enough. That hour is now. The endless cycle of torment, of confusion, of setbacks, of attacks that seem to strike without warning, it has been broken by my decree. No longer will you feel as though you are running in circles, chasing hope only to watch it slip from your grasp again. No longer will the same wound reopen, the same fear repeat, the same disappointment echo in your soul. My hand has descended like a gavel striking the table of heaven, and the verdict has been announced. It is finished. What bound you is now undone. What hunted you has now been silenced. What weight on your shoulders is now lifted, because I, the Lord your God, have intervened. You will look back and realize that what felt endless was only temporary. What felt unbreakable was already weakening under the pressure of my presence. I declare over you, the cycle is shattered. You will not return to the place you were. The chains that seemed welded shut are now lying broken at your feet, and I call you forward into freedom. And child, hear me again, because I know your heart struggles to believe what your ears are hearing. You have become so accustomed to the repetition of struggle that freedom feels foreign, almost impossible, like a dream too good to touch. But I am not speaking dreams. I am speaking reality, the kind of reality that shifts atmospheres and redefines your story. I am not giving you vague comfort. I am issuing divine confirmation. You will not go back to the way it was. I myself have drawn a line in the spirit and declared that the season of cycles has ended. I've seen how the enemy used repetition as a weapon, hoping you would break under the weight of despair, hoping that constant resistance would drain your courage, blur your vision, and steal your strength. But he underestimated you. More than that, he underestimated me. For I am the one who stepped into your weary nights and carried you when you thought you had collapsed for the last time. I am the one who shielded you when the arrows flew relentlessly, though you never knew how close danger came. And I am the one now declaring a new sound over your life, the sound of closure, the sound of finality, the sound of victory that cannot be reversed. My child, you are stepping into a season of freedom where what used to bind you cannot touch you anymore. The pages of your story have turned. The chapter of cycles is over, and I am writing a new one with my own hand. Rest in this truth. You are no longer repeating the pain of yesterday, because I, your Father, have said, "It is over." Stop carrying it. My beloved, listen. The hold that pressed on your thoughts, the relentless replay of hurt and the habitual hauntings that haunted your night, that heavy hand around the mind that made you retract and retreat. I have taken it. Feel this. The pressure that once felt permanent is now permitted to fall away. For too long you carried a thief of tranquility in the corridors of your thinking. You rehearsed the worst-case scenarios until they sounded like prophecy. You replayed the painful scenes until your heart believed they were the only script. But I declare a different script over you. I speak with authority that severs and with tenderness that soothes. I speak both to break and to bind, to break the patterns that bound you and to bind you to truth. No more will the mind be a battlefield where old accusations march in perfect formation. No longer will the enemy be allowed to loop your failures on a grim, grinding repeat. I have reached into the loops and the lures and the lies, and I have cut them. I have unlatched the lock that kept those memories spinning like a cruel carnival, and I now set you on steady ground. This is not mere consolation. This is a change in the atmosphere. I am performing a practical, palpable work in your inner room. Where there was once a long, loud litany of self-condemnation, I am planting a stillness so deep it will feel like a new language to your soul. You will learn to breathe differently because the burden has been removed. The pattern that pinned you down is severed by my decree. What tormented your mind for so long has lost its grip. Hear me, child, because I know the way habit masqueraded as identity for you. You learned to introduce yourself with the injuries you'd endured. You announced your past like an address and expected people to leave packages of pity at your doorstep. But I am changing the return address. I am redirecting your identity into the residence of redemption. Identity is not an echo of yesterday's wounds. It is the imprint of my love on your life. I will not let your mind become a museum of misery where every exhibit is an old scar. Instead, I will turn that museum into a sanctuary where the remnants of what happened teach mercy, not misery. See the contrast. Before, the mind was a map of mistakes. Now it will be a map of mercy. Before, every memory was magnified into meaningless accusation. Now, every memory will be measured against my mercy and will lose its power to pronounce final sentences over you. I am rewriting the annotations in your heart so that old shame cannot authenticate itself as truth. You have replayed the horror reel until you mistook its fiction for fact, but I will correct the copy. I will renew the narrative. I will reissue your life with my watermark: favored, found, forgiven. The enemy counted on repetition to steal your resolve. I counted on revelation to restore your resolve. That is why today I intervene, to replace that worn-out, weary script with a new line so luminous you will have to shield your eyes from the brightness of what I now pronounce over you. The grip is gone. The groove is broken. The ground beneath your feet is changing from unstable to sure. Child, do not mistake the magnitude of this moment. It is not a small shifting. It is a seismic unshackling. I am not offering a bandage. I am bringing a breakthrough. There will be recollections, yes, but they will come back as references and not as rulers of your destiny. When a memory visits now, it will no longer be the magistrate of your mood. Instead, it will be evidence of how far you have come. The mind that once tightened with fear will now expand with faith. The thought that once shrank into survival will now stretch toward sanctuary. I will teach your imagination to imagine better things than the enemy ever trained you to fear. You hear the sound of that? It is the sound of chains clinking and falling, not the brittle clatter of a temporary shift, but the bell-clear, final sound of release. Exaggeration. Perhaps in human language it sounds grandiose, but this is not hyperbole. This is heaven's precision. I do exceedingly, abundantly more than you ask or imagine, because the magnitude of my response matches the measure of the attack you endured. So if your mind protests, if it whispers, "But I am used to this," answer it, "Child, you were used to being used by fear. Now you are being used by me." Stand against the shrinking voice and speak, as I have spoken, a larger truth. Let your lips confess what I decree. The torment lost its grip. Say it until your own hearing believes it. Speak it until your soul moves into it. Now rise into the result. This is a conditional free promise, not because you were perfect, not because you became strong enough, but because I, who am perfectly just and perfectly merciful, have chosen to intervene. The mind that tormented you has been disarmed. The lies that looped in your head have been unspooled. The repetitive record that once replayed your worst days has been stopped by my hand on the remote of your life. Step into the silence I have carved for you, and fill it with new songs, songs of gratitude, of clarity, of courage. When your thoughts drift to the old hurt, gently, tenderly, return to my voice. Rehearse my words, not your wounds. Use the high-impact language I have taught, repetition of truth, rhythm of gratitude, and the stark contrast between who you were and who you are becoming. Alliteration will anchor you. Say it simply: freedom from fear, favor for the future. Let hyperbole highlight the hope. I will love you to the moon and beyond is not nonsense when my love is infinite. It is language trying to grasp what reality cannot contain. So take my words into your mouth. It has lost its grip. Proclaim them until the proclamation becomes your possession. I will meet that proclamation with manifestation. Believe, my beloved. Let the mind that tormented you for so long be the very place where I display my mercy most magnificently. Beloved, come close and let me speak in the stillness of your chest, where the old warnings parked themselves like unwanted guests. There were voices, a parade of petty prophets with painted smiles, who prophesied limitation over you. You will never. They said, you cannot. They whispered, you are less than. They declared. These voices were not mine. They masqueraded as truth, wrapped in wounded advice and robed in rationalizations, but they were theft in sheep's clothing. Today I sever their script. I send my scissors into the seams of each false sentence that has been stitched into your soul. I strip the label from every lie that has been wearing you like an ill-fitting coat. Hear this clearly. I do not allow a whisper to have the last word in a heart I have claimed as my own. I am the voice that calls mountains by name and then moves them. I am the voice that spoke light into existence with a sentence. I am the voice that will now watch out every small, sneaking whisper that sought to drown out destiny. When the critics came, some cloaked in concern, some cunning with cruel smiles, you stood there, listening, and you allowed their limits to become your ceilings. I have come to remove those ceilings. I will break the bullhorns of the accusers and put silence where they once shouted. This is not mere verbal pruning. This is a systematic severing of spiritual sabotage. You will no longer believe the gossip of the grave. You will believe my gospel of grace. I declare, the voices that lied to you are canceled. The whisper campaign that ran against your future is now bankrupt. I have cut off their communication and installed in your inner court a new announcer, my spirit, who will speak only truth, only encouragement, only calibration for your calling. Listen with the ears of a child who finally trusts the shepherd. Hear the contrast between their tiny talk and my thunder. Their talk was small, sharp, and shrill, designed to poke and provoke you into paralysis. My thunder is deep, rhythmic, reassuring. It rolls with the authority of love and the certainty of purpose. While they whispered you will never, I whispered you will. While they predicted poverty of spirit, I am producing prosperity of purpose. Use the technique of contrast to mark the difference. Before voices of limitation. Now, my voice of liberation. Before, the tongue torched your hope. Now, the tongue will teach you truth. Before, the lips lured you into a loop of apology and apology again. Now, my lips place upon you a peace that does not require performance. This shift is not small. It is seismic. The change is not subtle. It is surgical. I am excising the malignant murmurs that fed your fear and installing marrow-strong messages that will fuel your future. Let the alliteration anchor you. Lies loosed. Life launched. Let the exaggeration enlighten you. I will love you to the end of the universe and back. If language must swell to hold the truth, then let it swell. I will say it loudly so the lie cannot be heard over it. You have been rehearsing their sentences so often that they became memorized like lullabies that lull you into limitation. Stop repeating their script. Write with me. Replace the law-laced sentences with reality-laced declarations. When you sense the old whisper coming back, respond immediately with a barrage of brief, bold truth. I will make it. I will move forward. I am chosen. Let this be your spiritual stock response. Repetition will solidify reality, not the enemy's repetition, but your repetition of my promises. This is one of the high-impact techniques I teach you now. Use repetition and rhythm to reinforce truth. Say it again and mean it. I am chosen. I am chosen. I am chosen. Let that threefold chorus become the chorus of your heart until the accuser's chatter becomes a distant, ridiculous rumor. Where once you stumbled at the sound of critics, you will now stand steady, sovereign in my affirmation. The voice that mocked your attempts will become the echo that verifies my vindication. And because I am not merely a poet of promises but a worker who accomplishes his words, I will reconstruct the conversation in your life. I will bring people who speak my language, lift you with my cadence, and reinforce your new conversation with fresh testimonies and timely confirmations. Doors will open to voices that encourage, not toasts to tolerations that diminish. Opportunities will arrive with people who prophesy possibility, not parcels of pessimism. The enemy's counsel is being cut off and replaced with celestial counsel. The whisper network of the past will be replaced with my dispatches from heaven. I will put a new microphone in the mouth of your future, and the commentary will be my commentary, hope, healing, and holy honor. Step into this new soundscape with both feet. Let the old whispers fall away like old leaves. You are not defined by the echoes of their doubt. You are defined by the echo of my well done that I will one day speak into your ear. Until that day, practice receiving my voice daily. Tune your heart to frequency of faith and I will tune your future to the frequency of favor. The voices that lied to you are cut off. The voice of the Almighty stands in its place. My child, listen closely, not just with your ears, but with the ache behind your eyes, with the tightness in your chest, with the fatigue stitched into your every breath. Because I see it. The storm around you isn't just loud. It's constant. It's become your atmosphere. You've adapted to the chaos like it's a companion. You've grown used to spinning thoughts like it's a second heartbeat. The war of what-ifs, the internal arguments, the unanswered questions that loop like a haunted melody, they've been screaming louder than my whisper, and I can no longer allow it. So I say, as I once said to the wind and waves, peace. Be still. I am speaking to the storm not as a stranger, but as its creator. And when I speak, the elements obey. This is not a metaphor. This is movement. My words are not decoration. They are demolition. I came to dismantle the dominion chaos has claimed over your mind. Child, the storm has become your soundtrack, and the silence, the real kind, the holy kind, has become foreign to you. But I came to flip the script. What you've called normal is not natural in my kingdom. I never intended for anxiety to be your compass, or fear to be your familiar. You are not designed to be storm chasers, surviving on adrenaline and spiritual exhaustion. You are children of peace, citizens of calm, heirs to unshakable rest. And so today, I am not merely muting the noise. I am removing the storm's authority. I am breaking the rhythm of unrest that has danced over your thoughts and dreams like a thief in the night. You've woken up weary and gone to sleep still battling invisible winds. But I'm the God who commands silence to be sacred and calm to be more than comfort, to be confirmation. Yes, confirmation that my presence is not performance-based, but promise-anchored. The evidence that I am with you is not in more noise, but in less. And right now, I'm shifting you into a stillness so sacred that even your memories will feel quieter under its weight. You've been taught to think that movement means progress, that spinning means spiritual depth, that chaos is proof of warfare. But child, hear me. Sometimes the greatest spiritual warfare is accepting rest when the enemy wants you restless. The turbulence in your thoughts is not your truth. It's your training. You've been trained by trauma to think storms are signs of life. But I'm retraining your spirit to find life in the lull, purpose in the pause, revelation in the quiet. This storm, emotional, mental, spiritual, it had its season. But I have ended it with one command, and I will not leave a single remnant. I'm drying the rain of regret. I'm stilling the wind of worry. I'm calming the currents of confusion. This isn't just about silence. It's about sovereignty. I rule the storm. And because I rule it, it must surrender to my voice. So let it go, my love. Let it fall. Let the thunder quiet in my authority. Let the waves of panic dissolve under my peace. This is the new rhythm. Not stress, not survival, but supernatural stillness. Peace is not just coming. Peace has entered, and it bears my name. My beloved, let's speak honestly now, heart to heart. You've been singing a sad song, silently and constantly. A song of why did this happen? A melody of if only I had, and though you don't realize it, you've been humming that grief like it's your only comfort, reciting the pain like a pledge of loyalty to the one moment that broke you. I saw you standing at the edge of that loss, thinking it was the end of something precious. And yes, the pain was real. The tears were sacred. The ekekun. But child, it was never supposed to become your identity. Pain is a passerby, not a passport. And I didn't assign you a name like abandoned, unworthy, or forgotten. I called you mine. And yet, you've begun to wear the sorrow like a second skin. I see it in the way you flinch at joy. I see it in the way you brace for more loss, even in the midst of blessings. You've made space in your soul for suffering like it's a permanent tenant. But I came today with fire in my voice and mercy in my hands to tell you that song is not your anthem anymore. I have ripped that page from the book. I have removed the ink-stained echoes from your future. Let me show you what you couldn't see then. That what you called the end was actually the edit. And I, the author, have not stopped writing. You thought you had to memorize the pain in order to honor the past. But I say to you now, the most sacred act of remembrance is not recitation, it's resurrection. I am not preserving your loss, I am redeeming it. I'm taking the verses written in anguish and rewriting them in glory. I'm turning I was abandoned into I've been adopted. I'm transforming I lost everything into He restored more than I could contain. You do not have to keep singing sorrow to stay faithful. You're not betraying anyone by healing. You're not disloyal for daring to move forward. The enemy has tricked you into thinking your brokenness is your only inheritance. But I say, no more. That lie stops today. Grief had its moment. Loss had its place. But I'm the God who turns mourning into dancing, not just metaphorically, but miraculously. And I'm calling you to stop memorizing the melody of misery and start learning the language of joy. The notes of your next season will not be minor chords of mourning, but major movements of mercy. I'm composing something brand new, the song of strength sung through scars, a ballad of breakthrough written by the one who never stopped loving you through the silence. And guess what? You're not singing this next part alone. I'm surrounding you with harmonies of heaven. Angels are adding their voices to your freedom. Heaven is composing symphony from your surrender. And the final verse of this chapter won't be grief. It will be glory. You will not wear loss like a badge. You will wear joy like a crown. And those who saw you broken will be silenced by your beauty. Not beauty that denies pain, but beauty that survived it. Joe, let's close the curtain on that old chorus. Let the final note of sorrow fall into silence. And let me begin again, not just with music but with meaning. Not with tears but with testimony. The grief was never your name, and the loss was never the last word. I have the final say, and my word is resurrection. You don't need to explain a thing, my precious child. Not to them, not to yourself, not even to me. I saw it all. I was there when the words cut like glass. I stood close when the betrayal detonated under your feet. I watched as your smile became armor, your laughter became camouflage, your strength became survival. I know you didn't want to fall apart, so you stitched yourself together with silence and shame. But child, I was in the very place it shattered. Before the sobs were audible, before the first tear hit the pillow, before the pain even made sense to you, I knew. I didn't just see what broke you. I felt it. I felt it in the ache behind your silence. I heard it in the cries you swallowed. I collected the grief that soaked into the fabric of your daily life like invisible ink. Others walked past you unaware, but I, your God, leaned in. I listened to the pain you didn't know how to say. You weren't forgotten in that moment. You were held, not lightly, not distantly, but fiercely and fully, in the shelter of my embrace. You've been explaining your pain to people who lack the vocabulary of your soul. They offer opinions, but I hold the blueprint. I don't need you to make a case for why it hurt. I wrote the depths of your heart. Every chamber, every nuance, every sacred ache, known and understood by me alone. You don't have to defend your breaking. You don't have to justify your tears. You don't need to prove that the wound was deep. I knew it was. That's why I've been waiting, not with impatience, but with precision, to speak this word over your life. It is over. Not managed. Not delayed. Over. I'm not massaging the pain into tolerability. I'm ending it. I'm not asking you to function with fractures anymore. I'm closing the wound with a fire only heaven carries. I am not healing it to fade into memory. I'm resurrecting what was stolen and restoring what was shattered. What they said, what they did, what you internalized. All of it is losing its grip right now under the sound of my voice. Child, listen again. I'm ending it. That ache that pulsed behind your strongest days. That sadness that lingered beneath your most vibrant smiles. That invisible bruise that kept you from believing joy could truly last. It ends here. It ends in this moment, with these words. You won't need to relive it to prove you survived it. I am not writing your redemption in recycled ink. I'm starting fresh, blank page, bold grace. You are not the product of your pain. You are the promise of my purpose. I want you to feel it now, not just in your mind, but in your marrow. This is not just healing, it's closure. Divine, undeniable, irrevocable closure. The wound you couldn't name, the ache you couldn't explain. I have both named and healed. The ending is here. Let it settle. Let it sing. Let it saturate your spirit with finality. I don't need your apology for how long it's taken. I need your agreement that now is the moment. The war is over. The wound is closed. And the story is shifting into glory. Beloved, hear this clearly. What I've removed was never meant to remain. A door I closed. It wasn't slammed in anger. It was sealed in mercy. That relationship I released you from. That assignment I didn't let prosper. That chapter that crumbled beneath your feet while you were still reading it aloud. That wasn't punishment, it was protection. But I see you still standing in the graveyard of things I buried. Digging up memories. Revisiting ruins. Reopening what I gently and firmly shut. You're not called to rescue what I've released. You're not an archaeologist of pain. You're a carrier of purpose. Stop trying to breathe life back into what I declared finished. I didn't remove it to hurt you. I removed it to honor you, to pull you out of spaces that dulled your discernment and drained your divine identity. You keep returning to the ashes looking for evidence of your worth. But child, you are not found in what fell apart. You are found in what I'm raising up. You've been on a mission to fix, to reconcile, to explain yourself, to others, to your past. But I didn't call you to make sense of it. I called you to step out of it. Your obsession with repair is delaying your release. You've convinced yourself that closure looks like resolution, but in my kingdom, closure looks like obedience. When I say move, I don't wait for your understanding. I wait for your agreement. You're still holding blueprints to a structure I've already demolished. You're trying to decorate a season I've already evacuated. My presence doesn't dwell in the ruins. It dwells in the resurrected. You don't need to make peace with your past to step into your purpose. You just need to believe that I've already made peace for you. I'm not asking you to fix the fractured. I'm asking you to follow me into the freedom I've already prepared. And child, here's what you haven't seen. While you've been trying to repair what I buried, I've been building what you didn't know to ask for. While you've been chasing closure, I've been crafting calling. While you've been reaching back, I've been rewriting forward. The thing I'm doing next doesn't fit into your old framework. I'm not recycling your pain. I'm replacing it. I'm not enhancing what was. I'm erasing it, so I can elevate what's been hidden in plain sight. That friendship that vanished. That door that wouldn't open. That plan that crumbled at the last minute. It didn't reject you. It released you. And I'm so proud of you for holding on. But now, it's time to let go. Not because you're weak, but because you're ready. And you didn't even know it. Freedom isn't always loud. Sometimes it comes in a whisper that says this doesn't fit anymore. And when I whisper that, I'm not asking for your opinion. I'm inviting your obedience. Stop trying to fix what I've already finalized. Stop asking for clarity when I've already given you closure. This is not abandonment. This is alignment. I'm not calling you to repair the past. I'm calling you to walk free. Child, you keep asking, why did they leave? Why didn't it work? Why did that door slam so hard it echoed through my bones? And I need you to hear me now. Hear me with the heart that still aches, with the eyes still swollen from nights that didn't make sense. This is not abandonment. No, This is not me turning my back on you. This is me turning your face towards something greater. I did not leave you in the ruins. I led you out of the wreckage. That loss you labeled as punishment, it was protection wearing unfamiliar clothes. The door that didn't open, that was me standing on the other side with my hand pressed firmly against it, saying, not here. Not now. Not for you. Not because you weren't worthy, but because you are too worthy to settle for what would have poisoned your future. I removed it not in wrath, but in wisdom. What you interpreted as rejection was actually redirection, holy, hand-carved rerouting to save your spirit from roads that would have led to spiritual starvation. You see it now, don't you? The patterns, the small nudges, the whispers you ignored. I was never distant. I was dismantling what was draining you. And I didn't do it carelessly. I did it quietly, gently, like a surgeon who loves too much to let you bleed internally. You thought the silence was absence, but it was me working behind the veil. You thought the ending was unfair, but it was me removing what would have entangled your soul. I don't rip things away to create holes. I make space for what's holy. And child, what I'm about to place in that empty space will hush every lie that told you I left. I never left. Not for a breath. Not for a blink. I've been closer than your closest thought, watching over you while you mourned something I knew would have eventually mangled your spirit. I routed you to rescue you. I shifted the direction not to punish your desires, but to preserve your destiny. This detour, painful as it was, is part of my divine architecture. You thought it was a collapse, but I saw it as a construction site. And now, the foundation is being relayed with purity, not performance. With promise, not pretense. The next chapter will not be built on bargaining for love or begging for crumbs. It will be built on blessing, the kind that doesn't demand you shrink, fake, or fragment yourself to be seen. So breathe, my love. I know it hurt. I know you mourned what could have been. But I assure you, what's coming will be. And it will be better, richer, fuller, because I'm the one writing it. This isn't abandonment. This is deliverance with strategy. This isn't punishment. It's my protective hand guiding you from the shadows into something you couldn't even imagine asking for. So lift your eyes. The path may look different than what you plan, but the destination, it's still drenched in promise. I'm not rejecting you. I'm rerouting you to glory. I watched it all. The way you stayed. The way you served. The way you gave the last fragments of your energy to hold together what was already cracking. I saw how they praised you when you were shining but disappeared when you started shivering. You weren't loved for your humanity, you were admired for your performance. But I never created you to be a performer. I created you to be my child. And I know, oh, how I know, how deeply it hurt to realize that the same hands that clapped for your victories were nowhere near when your voice trembled with grief. You were loyal to those who didn't know how to handle your tears. You were gentle with those who only stayed for your strength. But I saw. I marked every moment. I counted every silent sacrifice. You poured out love while running on empty, and now, I am coming to fill you up in a way you've never experienced before. You thought maybe love looked like being quiet, strong, composed. But I say to you, love looks like rest. Love looks like me stepping in where they step back. Love looks like the oil of heaven being poured over your dry bones. You served without being seen. You stayed when you were overlooked. And still, you carried their burdens, their expectations, their comfort. But I have seen the strain behind your smile. I felt the weight behind your whisper. I'm fine. And no, child, you weren't fine. But I'm not asking you to fake it any longer. I'm not asking you to stay strong for people who vanished when your soul was fragile. I'm asking you to receive now. You've been the fountain. Now it's time to be the field. You've been the provider of peace. Now it's time to be the recipient of healing. This is not selfish. This is sacred. I am not just replenishing you. I'm redefining you. No longer will your value be tied to how well you carry others. No longer will your worth be measured by your ability to hold everyone else together. I'm pouring back into you with precision. The same strength you gave away, I'm restoring double. The same grace you extended, I'm returning pressed down, shaken together, overflowing. And here's what you need to know. This time, it won't come with conditions. You want a dodi in vervetion or tongue. I'm surrounding you with peace that pursues you, love that lifts you, and rest that requires nothing but your yes. Your days of invisible exhaustion are ending. You were loyal, even when they weren't. You stayed kind, even when they vanished. And now, I'm rewarding you, not just with compensation, but with completion. I'm pouring back into you until every dry place dances, every empty place overflows, and every tired place becomes a throne for my presence. Oh, my child, how many times have you whispered those two words, "I'm fine," with a trembling lip and a soul screaming for someone to actually see you? You didn't say it to deceive. You said it to survive. You wore "I'm fine" like a shield, not to hide from me, but to hold yourself together in a world that kept asking you to be more than you had left to give. But child, I never believed the words. Because I never listened to your lips, I listened to your spirit. And underneath the polished phrases and practiced strength, I heard the cry. The real cry. The one you buried beneath responsibilities and reverence. The one you dared not voice out loud because you weren't sure if anyone would really stay if they heard it. But I heard. I always heard. And I stayed. I stayed when your heart cracked quietly behind closed doors. I stayed when your strength unraveled in slow motion. I stayed when you begged me to just make the ache go away, and all you got in return was silence. But child, that silence wasn't absence. It was incubation. It was me wrapping my voice around the parts of you too tender to be touched by anything but truth. I know you. I know the way your heart beats faster when the tears threaten to fall in front of people who won't understand. I know how you brush them back quickly, how you lift your chin and fix your posture, hoping the world doesn't see the war inside. But child, I see it. Not to shame you, not to scold you, but to save you. I am not intimidated by your fragility. I do not run from your cracks. I enter them. I enter the very place you tried to seal off. That corner of your heart where hope was last seen limping. That hallway of your memories where pain still echoes. That secret room you only unlock in the darkness when no one else is watching. I'm already in there. And I've come not with noise, not with performance, not with pressure, but with presence. With the still, sacred, searing presence that doesn't need loud declarations, because it is the declaration. I am healing you. Line by line. Layer by layer. Factor by factor. You don't need to come to me with flawless faith. Come to me with your fracture. That's what I'm after. You keep thinking healing has to look dramatic, tears falling, lightning striking, the heavens cracking open. But child, sometimes healing sounds like quiet, like the silence that finally feels safe, like the voice of God whispering in the core of your pain. You are seen. You are safe. You are still mine. I didn't come to dismiss your pain. I came to dismantle it. Not in one dramatic display, but in the daily rhythm of redemption. I'm sealing the cracks, not with cement, but with compassion. With every word I speak over you, love. Chosen. Oh, I'm restoring what broke in places you couldn't name. And here's the miracle. What once cracked you will now carry you. Because when I heal something, I don't just restore it. I recommission it. You will carry peace in the places where panic once reigned. You will speak hope from the mouth that once only whispered survival. Because the fracture wasn't your failure. It was the entrance point for my voice, and now I filled it. Child, put the pen down. You keep flipping back to the same page, the same memory, the same scene in your mind where it all went wrong, trying to rewrite it, understand it, fix it. But I need you to hear me clearly. The chapter is closed. That season, that story, that sorrow, it served its purpose, and it no longer defines your present. You've been living like a soul editor, dissecting the past, underlining the pain, annotating your regrets. But I'm not asking you to be the author. I already am. And the author says, it is finished. Not as punishment, but as permission. Permission to finally let that page rest in peace. Because the more you reread it, the more you anchor yourself to a version of you I've already outgrown. That version who thought staying in a broken place proved loyalty. That version who made their identity out of endurance. That version who begged for validation from voices that never saw your value. I honor that version, but I don't keep that version. I evolve you. I upgrade you. I resurrect you. And resurrected people don't return to tombs. Listen to me. You don't have to keep rereading pain to make peace with it. I am the Prince of Peace, and I've already spoken over it. The ending was never yours to edit. It was mine to redeem. And what's ahead of you, O child, what's ahead, will not be made from the fragments that cut you. I'm not building your future with bricks of bitterness or beams of brokenness. I'm using the truth of who you are in me, the identity that was hidden under rubble but never lost. You were never meant to architect a future while carrying debris from a demolished dream. So stop scavenging for closure in places I've already left. The story isn't over. But that chapter is. I know you wanted a better ending. I know you wanted a different outcome. But what if I told you, this is the better ending? Not because it felt good, but because it birthed something sacred. You don't see it yet, but I do. I see the roots growing from what looked like ruin. I see the blossoms breaking through the very place the storm raged loudest. Let me be your plot twist, child. Let me be the unexpected miracle that breaks in after the credits roll. You thought it was over, but I was just beginning. That's the thing about me. I write resurrections, not just recoveries. I don't restore you to where you were. I release you into what you were always meant to become. The future I prepared doesn't require you to fix the past. It requires you to trust me now. Trust that I close the chapter because the ink of my promise doesn't run backward. It only runs forward. So don't read it anymore. Don't mourn what didn't finish your way. What's ahead is too holy to be written with trauma-tinted pens. I'm putting a new pen in your hand. One dipped in glory, one soaked in joy, one carried by grace. And together, we're writing the next chapter. Not out of pain, but out of purpose. Let the old page turn. It will not be the foundation. It will only be the prelude. Child, you've been waiting. Waiting for confirmation. Waiting for clarity. Waiting for something louder, bigger, flashier. Something undeniable to prove that it's time. You've whispered in your prayers, God, just give me one more sign, as if the signs I've already sent weren't enough. The conversations you overheard that echoed your thoughts. The dreams that kept pressing the same truth. The scriptures that leapt off the page. The moments you stood at the edge of decision, heart pounding, spirit stirred, and still, you hesitated, waiting for more. But listen to me now. You don't need another sign. This is it. Not because it's loud, but because it's real. This is the moment where your atmosphere is being invaded by my authority. This is my breath, my word, my fire, landing not just near you, but in you. There is no more delay. No more fleeces to lay down. No more detours of doubt. This is your final word. I am not just speaking with tenderness. I am speaking with finality. My breath carries closure. And right now, that breath is hovering over the very places where you've been suspended between hope and hesitation. I'm not asking for your permission to move. I'm declaring what has already shifted in the spirit. You've lingered long enough on the border of breakthrough. You've sat in the in-between, trying to keep one foot in the familiar and one in the freedom. But freedom doesn't work that way. You can't step into resurrection while clutching a corpse. You've mourned long enough. You fasted, cried, begged, wondered, and now, I say with the voice that silences storms and calls the dead to life, that addiction that crept back in cycles, broken, that guilt that lingered like smoke in your soul, disperse, that fear that paralyzed your next step, dismantle. This isn't symbolic. This is spiritual. This isn't poetry. This is power. I didn't wait until you were strong to speak this. I waited until you were surrendered. And now, in this surrender, you will hear my voice louder than your wounds. My words will no longer whisper. They will thunder through your soul until you believe that you are not tethered to what tried to torment you. This is not an echo from your imagination. This is me. This is God. And I speak not in riddles, but in revelation. What has haunted you ends here. What you've called normal will no longer be your narrative. I'm deleting the dialogue of defeat and rewriting the story with my authority. No more delay. No more debate. No more waiting for what's already arrived. This breath you just took, it carries confirmation. These words you're reading, they carry closure. And the heaviness you've grown used to, it just lost its grip. This is not the beginning of the end. This is the end of what was never meant to begin. So rise now. Stand now. Walk now. Because the thing you feared wouldn't end just did. You've just heard me say it's over. The fear, the delay, the cycles of waiting. But what I'm doing in you, I also want to do through you. Child, I've made you a river, not a reservoir. As I pour into you, I'm asking you to pour out so others can be set free too. Your support, your giving, your yes, it becomes a seed of deliverance for someone else who is still bound, still begging me for a word. I said in my word, he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. When you sow into this house, you're not just funding content, you're fueling revival. This is holy ground, and your offering becomes oil that keeps the fire burning. I'm speaking to you now, give into what just gave life to you. Go now to Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link below, and sow into freedom that multiplies. There is a cycle, a cruel, silent spin of expectations followed by disappointment, of hope birthed only to die in your hands. I've seen it. The way you've trusted again and again, only to be left with bruises you weren't expecting. Promises tangled like bait, always out of reach. People who spoke light but carried shadows. Opportunities that looked divine but led you back into dungeons of discouragement. And I know what that does to the soul. It makes you cautious with joy, careful with hope, and hesitant with healing. But I didn't call you to live on edge. I didn't design your spirit for cycles of torment masquerading as timing. So now, not tomorrow, not when you feel braver, not when others agree. Now, I step in and declare, the cycle is broken. Permanently. Irrevocably. Completely. You will not repeat what almost destroyed you. You will not circle that mountain again. You will not keep revisiting graves that should have stayed sealed. This is not another temporary relief. This is permanent release. You've grown used to the rhythm of almost delivered, almost free, almost whole. And that almost has started to infect your faith, to tell you maybe you're not meant for complete healing. Maybe you only qualify for partial peace. But I crush that lie under my feet. Because I don't do halfway healings. I don't perform partial breakthroughs. I finish what I start. And I have started a new work in you, child, not just to interrupt the cycle, but to incinerate it. You are not going to need to brace for relapse, for emotional whiplash, for the return of the very thing I just removed. I'm not just giving you a moment of breakthrough. I'm giving you a movement. A movement that doesn't revolve around trauma, but around truth. A momentum that doesn't run on pressure, but on peace. This cycle you've been trapped in, it ends with a crash of divine finality. I have declared no more, and when I say no more, every power of darkness loses access. And hear this clearly, you are not cursed. You are chosen. The patterns that plagued your parents, the silent shame passed down, the emotional residue of things that happened before you were even aware, it ends with you. You will not pass down what tried to pass through you. You will not inherit the instability that was modeled for you. You will not repeat the relationships that drain you. I'm giving you a new pattern, a new peace, a new place to stand. Your children, your community, your legacy will no longer carry the fingerprints of that cycle. I'm replacing the spinning wheel of false starts with a steady rhythm of forward movement. No more false hope that fizzles. No more promises that poison. No more longings left unspoken because of fear of disappointment. I'm breaking the system, and I'm birthing something sacred in its place. This isn't just a stop. This is a start. A holy beginning that doesn't carry echoes of what almost ruined you, but resounds with the declaration of what now defines you, freedom. Oh, my precious child, how gently and fiercely I've watched over you. I have seen every moment where you adjusted your expectations just to avoid the ache of another letdown. You didn't settle because you stopped believing in me. You settled because disappointment became too familiar, too sharp, too heavy. And you thought to yourself, maybe I shouldn't ask for too much. Maybe I should be grateful for just surviving. But I never designed you to merely survive. I never authored your story to read like a prolonged sigh. I wrote you into this world to rise, not from a place of striving, but from a place of surrender. And child, I see the way you lowered your standards to match what looked possible, instead of lifting your eyes to match what I promised. But I say to you now, the era of spiritual smallness, emotional shrinking, and fear-driven silence is over. That fear ends now. You've been building your life on caution, editing your prayers, filtering your desires, hoping silently so that the crash wouldn't hurt as much if the door didn't open. But child, I never asked you to manage your hope. I asked you to bring it to me. Raw, real, loud, shaking if it must have, but real. You can't manipulate your way into peace. You can't water down your faith and expect overflow. And I know how brutal the disappointment has been. When it didn't happen. When they left. When the door slammed. When the prayer didn't seem to reach the sky. But that disappointment didn't mean I abandoned you. It meant I was protecting you from what you didn't yet see. And now, I'm bringing you back to a place of undiluted hope. I'm washing away the residue of fear, the kind that made you flinch even in the presence of good things. I'm cleansing the corners of your heart that believed you had to earn everything just to keep from losing it. You don't have to negotiate with pain anymore. You're not bartering for blessings. You're inheriting them. And here's what I need you to know. Rising doesn't always feel like flying. Sometimes it feels like standing when your knees still shake. Sometimes it looks like choosing joy when grief still lingers. But make no mistake, you are rising. I'm lifting you out of emotional exhaustion, out of low-grade sorrow, out of cycles that camouflage themselves as coping mechanisms. The days of making yourself small so others could feel big are over. The days of calling lack humility are done. You were never called to be invisible. You were called to be impactful. And I am anointing you now, not just for visibility, but for victory. The kind of victory that doesn't need applause to be valid. The kind of rising that doesn't wait for consensus, only obedience. So rise, child. Not in the strength of your own performance, but in the power of my promise. It's not just time. It's my time. And I'm calling you up, out, forward, higher than you've dared to hope. You've settled long enough. Now, I command the spirit within you to stand. My beloved, you've worn grief like a second skin, not because you wanted to, but because you didn't know where it ended and you began. The loss was real. The silence was deafening. The change was violent, sudden, unfair. I watched you try to make sense of it, folding your emotions into tidy boxes just to function. And still, the ache remained. It clung to the edges of your every breath, an invisible weight stitched into your days. And I did not ignore it. I never looked away from your tears. I counted them. I cradled every sob in the palm of my hand. I allowed you to feel the grief because I honor your process. I dignify your pain. But I never intended for the valley to become your residence. I never meant for the funeral to become a fortress. And now, I say with love and authority, the season of grief has expired. The time of mourning has run its course. I'm not brushing it aside. I'm walking you out. Yes, I gave you space to collapse. I gave you room to scream into the silence, to ask the unanswerable questions. I let you lay on the floor with your hands clenched in sorrow, and I stayed there with you. But now, I'm extending my hand, not to rush you but to raise you. The ashes have spoken long enough. The memory of what you lost has had its time. But I need you to see, the tomb is empty. Not just my tomb. Your tattoo. The one where you buried parts of yourself along with what was lost. The version of you that believed joy was unreachable. That lightheartedness was a betrayal of the love you lost. That healing meant forgetting. Child, it doesn't. You're not moving on. You're moving with me. And with me, nothing is wasted. Not the time. Not the tears. Not the deep love that broke your heart. I carry it all. And now I'm carrying you. It may feel strange at first, to smile without guilt, to laugh without apology, to dream again. But these are not signs of forgetting. These are signs of healing. Sacred signs that resurrection is working from the inside out. You will still remember, but it won't wreck you. You will still love, but it won't haunt you. I'm not taking away your memories. I'm restoring their meaning. And I know, I know you've wondered if healing was even allowed, if joy was even appropriate. But I tell you now, joy is holy, and it's returning to you, unannounced, unexpected, undeniable. The cloak of sorrow is falling. The heaviness you wore like a badge of honor is being replaced with garments of praise. You don't have to apologize for surviving. You don't have to justify your joy. I am the one who declares the end of seasons. And I say to you now, the grief has served its purpose. It softened you. It deepened you. But it no longer defines you. Come with me, child. Take my hand. The season has shifted, and we're walking out together. Beloved, I know the weight of your patience. I know how many nights you whispered apologies into the darkness for staying longer than you should have, for hoping more than was healthy, for loving what didn't give back. You've carried guilt for the seasons you extended your loyalty, believing that endurance was virtue, that silence was strength, that loving them, even when it hurt, proved something about your character. And you believed that you must apologize for when your hope outlasted their commitment. But hear me, you never needed to apologize for love. You never needed to carry shame for staying. Because while you stayed, I was with you. While you ached, I was in the ache. While you were fading, my borders held you. I saw every moment you lowered your defenses to try to make peace, every apology you wrote in your heart though your mouth couldn't speak. I know how the walls around you cracked under strain, how your smile sometimes trembled at the seams. But even then, I saw, and I did more than see. I protected, I preserved, I positioned. You don't need to apologize for being brave. I see your bravery even in the broken places. Because I always fight. I always fight for you. I didn't leave you out in the open when storms raged. I didn't watch from a distance when betrayal crept in. I didn't abandon you in your silence. Every time the world seemed to say no, I said yes. Every time your faith threatened to shatter, I whispered promise. Every time your heart wanted to give up, my love held it in place. I know how many times you got up, even when your knees still ached from previous falls. I saw how you wiped your eyes, sometimes so quietly, so painfully, believing no one would notice. But I noticed. And in every moment, I was fighting for you, against lies, fear, shame, loneliness. When you couldn't speak, my spirit interceded. When the weight felt too heavy, my grace was enough to carry it. Ere you couldn't stand for yourself, I stood in the gap. And I did not quit. I will never quit on you. You've believed, in some moments, that your staying made you weak, that your lingering was proof you didn't matter enough to deserve rescue. But I say now, your staying revealed your heart. Those places you sheltered kindness, offered grace, cradled hope in your chest, even when each breath felt like survival, that wasn't weakness, and was sacred courage. And I honored it all. But the staying was never the final answer. The fight was never over because of your strength. It was over because of me. Because I always fight. And the day has come when I pull you out of battles you were never meant to win alone. When the war has grown too loud, I step in. When the fight feels too long, I bring the breakthrough. You don't have to apologize for believing in faithfulness when others didn't show up. You don't have to apologize for standing when rest seemed safer. Because I was always there, even in the unseen. Your apology is not needed. Your healing is. Now, stand in this truth. I fought. I protect. I shield. I deliver. The loyalty you offered, when no one offered in return, I saw it. The tears you hid, I collected them. The prayers you whispered in secret, I heard them. And now, I'm declaring with authority, you're released from the need to say I'm sorry for staying. Released from the shame that hovered over endurance. Because what you endured, I encompassed. What you carried, I carried. What you believed, though no one else believed, you believed, and I honor that. Let my strength cover your ashamed places. Let my love affirm your worth. Let my faithfulness become your rest. You don't need to apologize. You only need to receive. Because I have already fought, and now I give you victory. Child, how many times did you swallow your laughter so the room would feel safe? How many evenings did you dim your glow so that someone else's light could shine brighter? How many mornings did you wake with your heart tight, sacrificing what thrilled you so that peace would reign in someone else's house? You traded your joy, piece by precious piece, for the comfort of others, for the fear of causing storms if you claimed your space. You thought you needed to shrink your needs so no one would feel offended. You thought your desires were selfish. You believed that giving up was love. And in that, you lost parts of yourself you thought nobody wanted, so you gifted them in silence. I saw that. I saw your joy tucked away in corners, collecting dust. I saw your light dimmed, not by darkness without but by darkness within, the doubt whispering that to sparkle was too much. And my heart has carried the weight of your hidden smiles and secret sacrifices. I didn't just see. I remember. But my child, I always meant for your joy to be abundant, not borrowed. I intended for you to shine, not just for them but for me. I designed laughter to be part of your worship. I designed delight to be part of your daily. I crafted you for more than conditional kindness, for more than people-pleasing. Your joy is not a luxury. It is a necessity. When you denied it, I grieved because what was broken was not just your peace but your witness. When you minimized what thrilled you, I felt the tremble in the universe that something beautiful was being hidden. And I understand the cost, the unspoken dreams, the hidden gifts, the moments you wished for more but settled for less. All that you did, done in love, done in sacrifice, done in fear, it weighed on your soul. And I have been clearing space in heaven for what you lost. So now I begin what I started. Restoration. Restoration of the joy you gave away too readily. Restoration of that spark you thought you had to hide. The parts of you that were silenced, I'm speaking them loud again. The dreams you abandoned, I'm waking them up. The laughter you muffled, I'm unleashing it. I'm reclaiming every smile, every delight, every moment you traded away. You will have them back. Not as replacements but as resurrection. Not as afterthoughts but as new awakenings. I am restoring what you gave away with gratitude. What was sown in surrender, I'm harvesting in hope. What was buried in humility, I'm building up in honor. What you released because you thought it was too much, I'm returning because it was always too valuable. You will walk forward with unashamed joy. Your soul will radiate with delight. You will no longer dim your voice for comfort or mute your laughter for peace. You will own your brilliance. You will drink from sources of delight you thought were forever closed. And I will be with you in every burst of laughter, in every joyous moment, in the reclaimed dreams dancing back. Let the loss of joy be a marker of what's coming, not a sentence to endure. For the rest of your days, choose joy, not as a compromise, not as something you earn, but as something you live because I made it so. I saw what you traded. I see until the end. And now, I give you back what you forfeited to keep the peace. This restoration will be quiet. It will be a roar. It will be a rejoicing. It will be a join-up journey that testifies, you are worth delight. You were always worthy. Receive it now. Child, I know the thoughts that keep you up at night. The what-ifs that chase your peace like shadows on the wall. I've heard the blame you whispered to yourself long after everyone else forgot. I should have known better. I shouldn't have stayed. I could have done more. But I need you to hear me now, not through the static of shame, not through the fog of failure, but through the clarity of heaven itself. You didn't ruin anything. You did not sabotage your destiny. You did not miss your moment beyond my repair. You are not living under a spiritual expiration date. The choices you regret, the words you wish you hadn't said, the places where fear won. I was still there, and I didn't withdraw my promise when your foot slipped. I didn't revoke my love when your heart broke. I didn't reduce my plan when yours fell apart. I was already weaving redemption into the mistake while you were still weeping over the mess. You see, you're blaming yourself for not knowing what you couldn't possibly have seen. You're carrying guilt for trying to survive in conditions that made you forget who you were. But I never stopped seeing you. And while you were spinning in confusion, I was already setting the stage for recovery. The enemy wants you to believe that you disqualified yourself, that the pit you fell into was proof you were too flawed to be used. But I say otherwise. I say the pit was where I planted you. And now, watch what I bring forth from that soil. Not shame, not stagnation, but something beautiful. You keep looking at your missteps like evidence of your failure. But I use everything. Everything. Not just your victories, but your valleys. Not just your obedience, but your weakness. Not just your clarity, but even your confusion. I was never looking for perfection. I was always looking for proximity. And even when you ran, I chased. Even when you resisted, I remained. There's something I want you to feel deep in your bones. I'm not disappointed in you. I'm not sitting on a throne tallying your errors. I'm standing beside you, in the dust and debris, with my hands outstretched and my heart wide open, saying, let's begin again, not from scratch, but from strength. I'm not erasing your past. I'm redeeming it. I'm using even the chaos to shape compassion in you, even the mistakes to form wisdom, even the wounds to grow discernment. The road behind you wasn't wasted. It was necessary, not because I willed your pain, but because I use it. And now, I am saying with divine clarity, no more blame. No more beating yourself up in the quiet places. You don't need to carry the weight of what I already forgave. The cross covered that. My blood already handled that. Stop blaming yourself for what I have already built into your story of deliverance. Come back to beauty. I'm still writing it. You spent so much of your life trying to earn what was always free. Performing for love. Striving for acceptance. Over-explaining your intentions to people who never had the grace to understand. I watched you tighten yourself into someone else's mold just to keep the peace, shrinking yourself to make room for everyone else's comfort. And even now, somewhere deep inside, there's a quiet fear that whispers, if I mess up again, he'll leave. He'll be disappointed. He'll change his mind. But child, I do not change my mind. I didn't choose you because you had everything figured out. I chose you because I made you. I love you, not as a future version of yourself, not when you get better, not when you hit all the marks. I love you now, in the mess, in the process, in the half-healed places you're still hiding from the world. I don't need your perfection. I only want your presence. Let me say it louder, for the places in you that still flinch when you mess up. I never loved you because you got it all right. Never. Not once. I loved you before the apology. I loved you before the progress. I love you before the healing even began. Because my love doesn't have a back door. It doesn't come with conditions or fine print. It's not dangling on your next good deed or the next time you get it together. My love is anchored in who I am, not who you're trying to become. And that means it's unshakable. That means it's not going anywhere. I don't walk away when you're weak. I draw closer. I don't flinch when you fall. I hold. I don't keep a running list of your flaws. I keep a record of my faithfulness. And child, that record always ends in redemption. I know you're still figuring things out. Still wrestling with old fears. Still navigating unhealed corners of your heart. And that's okay. I'm not rushing you. I'm not grading you. I'm walking with you. And here's the sacred truth. As much as you long to be fully healed, I long to be fully with you. And I already am. The parts you think disqualify you, I've already factored them in. The struggles you try to hide from me, I already see them, and I love you through them. I'm not waiting for a perfect performance. I'm building something deeper. Intimacy. I'm drawing you into something more than religion. Into relationship. One where you can breathe. One where you can rest. One where your soul finally exhales because it realizes, I don't have to do this alone anymore. So rest, child. You're still mine. Not because of what you've done, but because of who I am. I'm your father, your defender, your refuge, your home. And I will never love you less than fully, even when you're still figuring it out. So come, with your questions, with your contradictions, with your half-formed prayers. Come undone if you must. Yes, come real. Because that's the place I dwell. Not in the polished, but in the present. Not in the perfect, but in the pursuit. And every step you take toward me, even the trembling ones, I count them sacred. So if you're still unsure, let me make it simple. You are mine. Still. Always. Gueru. Child. You've worn strength like a duty. A mantle you didn't choose, but one you believed you had to carry. For them, for the family, for your friends, for everyone but yourself. You've been the one others leaned on. The quiet reservoir people drank from, never knowing you were running dry. You've held it all together. Schedules, emotions, peacekeeping, prayers. And in the process, you buried parts of yourself. Your softness, your exhaustion, your own unmet needs. You convinced yourself it was noble, holy even, to never let your knees buckle. But now, I want you to hear the truth straight from my lips. I never asked you to be everyone's strong one. I didn't create you to be a savior. That role was never yours. I am the strength. I am the fortress. I am the sustainer. You're the beloved. The world has trained you to confuse control with security. To believe that love equals sacrifice without rest. But child, strength isn't just about how much weight you can carry. It's about knowing when to put it down. I didn't create you to be a martyr of emotional exhaustion. I created you to abide in me. And where I abide, strength flows freely, not from your striving but from my spirit. You're not failing when you feel weak. You're being honest. And I bless honesty far more than I bless performance. I bless the whisper, I can't do this anymore, because it creates space for me to do what you never could. You've been running on fuel, thinking staying strong was proof of faith. But real faith isn't holding everything together. Real faith is letting me hold you. I'm lifting that weight off your shoulders now. The silent weight of being the glue in every room. The one who knows how to fix it. The one who keeps the peace. the one who swallows tears to make others comfortable. I'm breaking that agreement you made with pressure, the one that said you had to keep showing up full when you were empty, the one that told you rest was a luxury instead of a command. You're allowed to breathe. You're allowed to need. You're allowed to fall apart sometimes. And when you do, you will discover a sacred truth. I do not love you for how strong you are. I love you because you're mine. Not for your ability to endure, but because I designed you for intimacy, for trust, for softness. You're not my soldier first. You're my child. So come lay it all down. You don't have to keep holding what's crushing you. You were never meant to carry it all. That was never your job. You are not the glue. I am. I'm the strength in your silence. I'm the power in your pause. I'm the grace in your unraveling. Let go. And as you do, you'll feel something shift, not just in your body, but in your soul. That shift will whisper a holy truth. You were never loved for what you could carry. You were loved because I carried you. You're not the strong one anymore. You're the held one. You're the safe one. You're the seen one. That's your new name now. Not burdened. Not weary. Not burned out. Beloved, you've spent so long waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to step into what I've already spoken over you. You've paused your promise, delayed your obedience, edited your dreams, all because worthiness felt like something you had to earn. And child, I understand. The wounds run deep. The places where people made you feel small when you dared to dream big. The way culture told you to wait your turn. The way religion sometimes told you to shrink so others wouldn't feel threatened. And somewhere along the way, you began to believe that worth was a reward instead of a reality. But I never made you wait to be worthy. I made you worthy from the beginning. From the first breath, the first heartbeat, the first whisper of your name in heaven's throne room, I called you mine. And that identity doesn't expire. It doesn't get ruined. It doesn't get renegotiated when you mess up. Worthiness isn't something you arrive at. It's something I placed on you. I've watched you disqualify yourself over and over, not because of what others have said, but because of what you've said to yourself. I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. I'm too broken. But child, none of that is language I ever wrote into your story. You've been rehearsing lies as if they were prerequisites. You've been waiting for a moment that feels safe enough to take the leap, not realizing that the leap itself is what activates the grace. You don't need more confirmation. You need more courage. Because I've already confirmed it. The calling, the identity, the destiny. You don't need to audition for what I've already cast you in. You don't need to compete for what I've already customized for you. I didn't just choose you. I crafted you. And every detail of your design screams worthy. So stop waiting for applause. Stop waiting for permission. Walk in it. Before they understand. Before they approve. What? You see, if you wait for the world to catch up before you believe you're enough, you'll live your whole life behind someone else's validation. But I never called you to follow their timeline. I called you to follow my voice. And I'm saying now, with power and finality, you are worthy now. Not because of what you've done, but because of who you belong to. Worth is not a feeling. It's a fact sealed in the blood of my Son. You don't have to feel it to walk in it. Just step. And as you move, the feelings will follow. As you obey, confidence will catch up. Don't wait to be completely healed before you speak. Don't wait to be fully fearless before you show up. Show up with the tremble. Show up with the question. because I walk with the brave, and bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's the presence of me. So go, child. Go write the book. Launch the vision. Speak the truth. Build the thing. Heal the heart. Love again. Trust again. Forget again. You don't have to wait for your feelings to validate what I've already declared. The heavens already shouted your name. The angels already heard your assignment. The world may not see it yet, but they will. Because I am about to reveal what I've been building in secret. And when it happens, you'll remember this moment, when heaven whispered what the world couldn't yet recognize. You are worthy. You always were. You always will be. Beloved, I know the voices that bruise you. The ones that whispered you were not enough. The ones that measured you by others' expectations. The ones that told you your best was still too little. I heard them echo in your mind. I saw them shadow your joy. I felt the weight you carried when their words pressed upon you like stones. But hear me now, for every time you were told you didn't measure up, I measured you up by my love. For every lie that said you lacked something, I already provided everything. You didn't miss your calling because of your weakness. You didn't fail the test because you weren't capable. The standard set by others was never my standard. When the world measures with wallets and words, I measure with mercy, with blood-bought worth, with eyes that see every fiber of your soul. You don't have to live thirsty for approval that never quenched. Drink of me. Drink of my truth. Let my love saturate the places rejection tried to steal. You've been trying to prove yourself worthy. In relationships, in work, in ministry. Trying to show up strong, always strong, hoping someone would finally say, yes, this is it. Hoping that if you just did one more thing, if you sacrificed one more piece, if you neglected one more need of your own, then surely someone would see you, appreciate you, validate you. And in that striving, you drank lies, tasted bitterness, swallowed shame. But I never required you to earn my gaze. I never demanded performance to hold my love. The moment you were born again, I redeemed you, crowned you, called you my own. Not because of what you would do, but because of what I did. The cross is my proof. The grave is my triumph. Sin, failure, weakness, they are not the end of your story. They are the backdrop that makes my grace look all the more glorious. So, stop trying to measure up to their standard. Stop comparing your struggle to someone else's highlight reel. Drink my truth. Bathe in my acceptance. Let every cell know you are enough because I am enough for you. Now, swallow this with your spirit. I am worth far more than what others have told me. Let it rise from inside until you stop looking sideways for validation. Let their judgments fall away like dust from sandals. Let my voice become louder than every criticism, louder than every expectation. For every lie about not being enough, I'm speaking a counter-declaration. You are loved. You are seen. You are chosen. You are equipped, even when you feel frail. You are beautiful, even when you feel broken. You are enough, not by your effort, but by my grace. So let's release the lies that poison your peace. Let's reject the small, narrow measurements of human opinion. Let's embrace the vast, unshakable measurements of my truth. I proved I was enough for you, and I will prove it again, through every open door, through every whisper of peace, through every moment you dare to believe it. You've just heard me reveal what was stolen and what I'm restoring. But child, restoration is not just personal, it's generational. I'm calling you to partner with me in restoring others. Your giving doesn't just help, it heals. Every gift becomes manna falling in the wilderness of someone else's despair. Every seed you plant sends this word to someone ready to end it all. Until they hear this, my word says, bring all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. You are the one I'm using to fill my storehouse, so I can feed the hungry again and again. Don't wait for another nudge. I'm giving it now. Go to Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link below, and sow into restoration, not just for you, but for a world starving to know it's over. My child, I know the history you carry, the disappointments, the betrayals, the seasons you believed would never end. I know how those past experiences have built walls around your heart. Walls like caution, walls like fear, walls like if this again, I won't survive. You carry what happened like it defines what will happen. You drag forward memories of pain, treating them like fingerprints stamped on every new opportunity. You whisper prayers for tomorrow, but your heart braces for the blow. And so you remain in the margin, avoiding risk, avoiding hope, avoiding stepping out because what you once hoped for didn't arrive. But I am here, not just to comfort but to redeem. I am not surprised by your fear. I anticipated it. I know the lessons your past taught you, many of them hard, many of them bitter. But I say this, those lessons are not destiny. The pattern is broken. The tether holding your future to your former pain is severed. I am teaching you hope again. I am rewriting your tomorrow. Yes, I know what betraying hope feels like. I know how your soul asked questions in the night. I know how you made plans that fell through. I know how every abrupt ending whispered that maybe nothing good could be trusted to last. But I also know what walking with me means. I know my promises. I know my faithfulness. And I know what I do with shattered dreams. I gather them. I sift through them. I transform the debris into soil for new life. The cracks, the gaps, the scars, they become portals for my light. The future you fear will be better than the past you survived. I am planting seeds of tomorrow in your heart. Seeds that will grow despite drought, despite seasons that tried to steal your hope. Because hope from heaven is different. It's not dainty. It is not naive. It endures. It confronts darkness. He insists on tomorrow before evidence shows. And I am growing that hope in you. So watch as I break predictions. Watch as I overturn expectations that were wrong. Watch as I give you a vision for tomorrow that feels too big, too bright, too impossible, because that's exactly the kind of future I fashion for my children. You will not walk into tomorrow timidly. You will not touch the promise with shaking fingers. You will stride into it, full of awe. For I am writing your story. I am shifting your steps. I am clearing the path ahead so you can breathe again. The future that once frightened you will beckon you. The next season will not be haunted by yesterday's ghosts. They will serve as witnesses, not as rulers. And you will walk forward, not with fear, but with faith. Not hesitant, but hopeful. Because I taught you hope once, and I will teach you again. My precious child, come close. You've been aware of some of the losses, the loud ones, the visible ones, the ones that left you breathless in their absence. But there are others. Quiet losses, subtle, almost invisible. Moments when pieces of you were taken so slowly, so methodically, you didn't even recognize the theft as it was happening. Places where hope leaked, not gushed. Places where joy drained over time instead of being snatched in a single blow. You learned to adjust without realizing you were adjusting to emptiness. You accepted less without realizing you were starting for more. And I, your God, saw every single bit. I watched what was taken behind your back: peace, identity, trust, rest. And I kept record, not to shame you, not to point out how long you tolerated the lack, but because I am a restorer, a God who notices what others miss, a Father who tracks the unspoken sacrifices, the invisible surrenders, the slow erosion of your soul. I've seen it all. And child, I'm not just restoring what you know you lost. I'm restoring what you forgot you had. You thought you were just being strong, just surviving. But some of those coping mechanisms were actually survival strategies born from a place of grief, a grief you never named. You forgot how freely you used to laugh, how fearlessly you used to hope, how open your heart was before disappointment taught you to ration your joy. And in that forgetting, you believed nothing was stolen, just change. But I know the original you. I designed the first edition of your spirit, and I've kept the blueprint. I know where the cracks formed. I know where you shrunk to fit others' comfort. I know where you stopped dreaming in color. And I did not forget. You may have moved on, but I marked it. The place you gave up. The moment you closed the door on that desire. The hour you stopped asking because asking hurt more than silence. I was there. I wept with you. And I made a promise that day. A quiet vow between heaven and your ache. I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. And now I say it again, not with a whisper but with a roar. I'm restoring all of it. Not just what was obvious, but what was slow, what was subtle, what was sacred and slipped through your fingers before you even noticed it was missing. Restoration doesn't just mean returning to what was. It means redeeming it, multiplying it, rebuilding it stronger. And I'm not asking you to figure it all out. I'm not demanding you recount every place of lack. I've already done the math. I've already written the redemption. I'm simply asking you to receive. Receive what you didn't even realize you were missing. Receive the lightness in your spirit that feels foreign now but once was familiar. Receive the abundance of peace, the overflow of identity, the radical return of you, the version of you that pain tried to erase, the version of you that joy is now awakening again. So breathe, beloved. The thief has been caught. The heavens have issued a decree. What was stolen, silently, gradually, even generationally, is being restored with interest. You don't need to name it all. I already have. You don't need to know where to begin. I am the beginning, and I am placing back into your hands what I preserved in heaven while the enemy thought you'd never notice it was gone. Restoration is not coming. It has begun. You've been feeling it lately, the tension, the tug, the discomfort in places that used to feel like home. What once was peaceful now feels suffocating. What once provided clarity now brings confusion. You've wondered, did I change? Did something break? And the answer is yes, but not the way you fear. You're not breaking. You're breaking out. You're not falling apart. You're expanding. You're outgrowing what used to contain you, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, even mentally. I designed you to grow. I planted divine hunger in your soul that would never be satisfied by stagnant surroundings. And now, that hunger is awakening something, a stirring that won't let you settle anymore. That stirring isn't rebellion. It's revelation. You're being called into more. And the tightness you feel isn't punishment. It's the signal that your spirit has begun to stretch. You keep trying to make the old places fit, the old rhythms, the old friendships, the old ways of thinking. You keep trying to force peace in rooms that now echo with your frustration. But listen to me. You've outgrown the smallness that used to make you feel safe. That doesn't mean you're ungrateful. That doesn't mean you've become prideful. It means you've grown. And growth is sacred. When a seed becomes a tree, it must break through the ground. When a bird is ready to fly, it can no longer stay in the nest. When oil expands, it demands new wineskins. You, my child, are not wrong for sensing that you don't fit anymore. That uncomfortable feeling is your confirmation. I'm calling you out of limitation, out of old identities, out of relationships that kept you rooted in fear, out of narratives that taught you your voice was too much, your calling too loud, your dreams too dangerous. You have grown that version of life. And now I'm calling you into something bigger. And yes, it feels scary. Yes, it feels like loss. Yes, it feels like walking into the unknown. But this is not death, it's delivery. This is what birthing looks like. The tightness, the pressure, the inner trembling, all signs that something divine is about to break forth. I am not pushing you out to punish you. I am releasing you so you can rise. You gotten used to fitting in. But now I'm calling you to stand out. You've spent years accommodating fear. Now I'm calling you to activate faith. Don't shrink to make peace with rooms I'm asking you to leave. Don't apologize for needing more when I'm the one expanding your territory. What once held you was for that season. But the season has shifted. And I don't just change seasons, I transform sons and daughters. And you, my beloved, have been transformed. So step forward. Step out. You don't need every detail. You only need the yes. The stirring in your chest is me. The restlessness in your sleep is me. The dissatisfaction with what once worked is me. I'm enlarging your capacity. I'm widening your borders. I'm setting you free from ceilings that were never meant to hold you. And though the space ahead may feel unfamiliar, know this: I've already gone before you. I've already prepared it. So trust the stretch. Trust the discomfort. Trust the call. You have grown what was. And now, you're walking into what will be. Child, why do you treat your healing like a debt you still owe me? Why do you flinch every time your heart needs a little more time, as if slowness equals failure? I've seen the pressure you place on yourself, that quiet voice that says, I should be over this by now, or I'm still broken, so I must be behind. But listen to me, not the voice of shame, not the accusations of delay. You are not behind. You are right where grace is working. You're right where I am meeting you. And I need you to hear this now, not as advice, but as a divine decree. Stop punishing yourself for the process. Stop measuring your worth by your pace. I never asked you to heal on a schedule. I never demanded perfection before I offered peace. I never withheld my presence because your journey took longer than expected. I've been patient with you, not tolerating you, loving you, fully, gently, Ajagan. You've internalized timelines set by others, or even set by your own pain. You thought faster healing meant stronger faith. You thought quick recovery meant proof you believed me. But I never equated speed with holiness. I never asked for performance. I asked for presence. I walk with you in every layer of healing. I stay with you in the moments when the memory resurfaces and the tears come without warning. I hold you when you thought you were past that but suddenly felt like you were right back in the middle of it. That's not regression. That's resurrection work still unfolding. That's the mercy of a God who knows that healing is not linear, it's layered. And sometimes the same wound opens twice because I'm going deeper, not to hurt you, but to free you. And I will keep showing up until the last thread of shame is unraveled, until the last lie is replaced with my truth. So please be patient with yourself. You're not being dramatic. You're not being too emotional. You're not too much. You're healing, and that is holy ground. The days you feel raw, I'm there. The nights you feel numb, I'm still there. The moments you wish you could fast forward through the ache, I'm holding the remote, but I will never skip what is sacred. There's no part of you that offends me, no brokenness that surprises me, no process that exhausts me. I do not grow tired of tending to your soul, and I will never say you should be better by now. Instead, I say, let's keep walking. I'm still here. That's the voice I want you to listen to. That's the voice I want you to echo when you speak to yourself. Grace is not just something I offer you. It's something I want you to give yourself. You don't owe me a faster recovery. You don't owe me polished prayers and perfect composure. You owe yourself permission to heal the way you actually need to heal. Slowly, deeply, honestly. Because that's the kind of healing that lasts. And that's the kind I'm doing in you. You are not late. You are not lost. You are becoming. And I'm with you, patient, kind, unwavering, every single step of the way. Beloved, hear me loud and clear. This is not the end. What you've seen of yourself is only the introduction. What you survived, it was only the setup. What you've accomplished, only the beginning. I know the world tries to place limits. I know age, circumstance, fatigue, and fear try to whisper, this is all there is. But I defy the limits. I break boundaries. I resurrect what looked done. And I am declaring over you now, there's still more. There's more inside you that hasn't yet been revealed. More purpose, more fire, more vision, more joy. You are not a finished painting hanging on the wall. You are still on the canvas. Brushstrokes of glory being added day by day, grace by grace. And I, the master artist, have no intention of putting my brush down anytime soon. You may feel like you've missed your moment, like you've peaked, like your best years, your clearest callings, your strongest seasons are behind you. But I need you to hear heaven's contradiction to that lie. I'm not done. Not even close. You think you've reached capacity, but I'm expanding it. You think you've run out of vision, but I'm about to download new revelation. You think you've used your best yes, but your next yes will shake more ground than anything you've said before. You are not winding down. You are winding up. You are not empty. You are pregnant with glory. And what I'm about to birth in your life will defy logic, time, history, and expectation. It will not make sense, because it is not from man. It is from me. You've seen glimpses, yes. You've tasted impact. You've walked in authority. But I'm about to pull back the veil on a dimension of your calling that you've never even imagined. The level of influence, the reach of your voice, the depth of your healing, the scope of your legacy. It's all expanding. And it will come from striving. It will come from alignment. Not from self-effort, but from surrender. You are stepping into a divine acceleration. One that feels like wind on your back. One that feels like being carried more than climbing. Because this next move, it's not powered by your hustle. It's powered by my hand. And I don't launch what I haven't equipped. So if I'm stirring you again, if I'm igniting you again, if I'm awakening something long dormant, it's because it's time. Time for the more. So lift your head. Open your hands. Shake off the lie that says your impact is over. Refuse the resignation that says, I've done enough. Not because you have to prove anything, but because I'm not finished proving my faithfulness through you. I still want to show the world what happens when an ordinary life says yes to an extraordinary God. There is still more in you. And this is the moment you finally believe it. Beloved, I saw the moment it shut, that opportunity, that relationship, that path you were praying for. You stood there in the hallway with your hands still stretched out, waiting for it to open again, wondering what went wrong, wondering why silence followed your obedience. You thought maybe you didn't pray hard enough. Maybe you missed the timing. Maybe you misheard me. But I'm here to tell you the truth, the real truth, not the version shame fed you. The door didn't close because you failed. It didn't close because you were weak or foolish or late. It closed because I'm a good father. It closed because I saw something ahead you couldn't see yet. It closed because I love you too much to let you walk into something half-baked, half alive, half aligned. You thought you lost something, but really, you escaped something. You see, I don't just open doors. I guard them. I don't just lead you forward. I block what will break you. And sometimes, the greatest mercy is not what I allow, but what I interrupt. You prayed for favor. You prayed for promotion. You prayed for purpose. But I know that favor without foundation will collapse. Promotion without preparation will cry. Purpose without presence will exhaust. So I closed that door, not to punish you, to protect you. You think the silence was rejection, but it was me rearranging, rerouting, repositioning you so the door you're meant for opens at the right time with the right covering. Don't confuse divine delay with divine denial. When I close a door, it's not the end of your story. It's the alignment of your destiny. I know it hurt. I know you wept. I know you tried to push the door back open, to fix it, to force it, to make it work one more time. And still it closed. Not because of your leg, but because of my love. You're not being punished. You're being protected. I see the traps. I hear the conversations you were never meant to know. I watch the rooms behind the scenes. And child, if I'm closing something, it's because I have something better. Not a replacement. A redemption. Not a cheap copy. A covenanted promise. But I can't give you the new while your heart is still grieving the closed. So come. Let me gently pull your hand back from that doorknob. Let me show you the path ahead. Let me show you what I've been building while you thought I was silent. You didn't mess up. You didn't fail. The door closed because I'm good. And if you wait with me, you'll see the day when it all makes sense. You'll stand on the other side of the yes and say, "Thank you, God," for the no. Because closed doors are not dead ends. They're divine detours. And I'm walking with you through every hallway until the right door swings wide. Not just open, but glorious. Oh, my precious one, I've watched you. Not just the version of you that smiles through the day, but the version that weeps in the night. The one who doesn't cry out loud anymore, not because the pain lessened, but because the exhaustion grew heavier. The one who wipes tears before anyone notices. The one who sits in the car, in the bathroom, in the dark, in the quiet, and lets sorrow leak through your fingers like water you can't hold anymore. I saw every moment. I caught every single tear. You thought you were alone, but you were never unseen. You were never weeping into emptiness. Your mourning reached heaven. And I, the God who weeps with those who weep, gathered every drop of grief and made a vow over it. This will not be wasted. You see, mourning doesn't scare me. Grief doesn't push me away. I don't skip past sorrow. I enter it. I walk right into your ache and sit beside you without demanding you cheer up or move on. Because healing doesn't come through pressure, it comes through presence. And my presence has been surrounding you, even when you did feel it. My hands have held you, even when you felt numb. I've been near in the groaning. I've been whispering in the sobs. And now I say this to you with all of heaven behind it. Your mourning is about to move. Not disappear, but transform. Not be forgotten, but become fruitful. What once strained you will now drive you. The tears that watered your wilderness are now birthing new life. I'm not asking you to forget the pain. I'm asking you to bring it to me. To let me touch the raw places. To let me speak where silence settled in. I'm not the God who says get over it. I'm the God who says, I'm with you in it, and I will walk you through it. I am the God who turns ashes into beauty, weeping into dancing, despair into destiny. And your sorrow, it's holy ground to me, because it means you cared. It means you love it deeply. It means something mattered. And what matters to you matters to me. So I will take your mourning and move it. I will take the ache and make it authority. I will take the heartbreak and make it healing for others. The tears that once fell in private will now fuel your public testimony. What broke you is becoming what builds others. What emptied you is becoming what empowers the weary. So don't hide your mourning. Don't rush past it. Don't minimize what you've carried. Instead, hand it to me. Trust me with your tears. I'm turning your private pain into public purpose. I'm turning your secret sorrow into sacred strength. And I'm doing it now, not tomorrow, not someday. Now, the movement has already begun. The morning is shifting. The weeping may last for the night, but child, morning is here. This is the line. Right here. The moment where the cycle breaks. The pattern ends. The fear loses its voice. The shame no longer decides your steps. You've been circling the same mountains, not because you're weak, but because the enemy was determined to make you believe you'd never leave. You stood at the edge of your promise and felt unworthy to cross over. But I'm telling you now, with finality and force, it's over. The chain is broken. The accusation is silenced. The sentence has been reversed. And it wasn't your effort that made it happen. It was my blood. It was the lamb that was slain. It was the mercy that shouted louder than guilt. I paid for this freedom with a love that will never expire, never fade, never fall short. You don't owe anything more. You don't need to punish yourself. You're free. I want you to stand up now. Not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally. I want you to rise into the fullness of what I died to give you. This isn't just about salvation. It's about liberation. It's about living free. Free from that voice in your head that says, you're too much or you'll never change. Free from the old agreements you made with trauma. Free from the rituals of regret. Free from the prison of your own perfectionism. You don't have to fix it all to move forward. You don't have to feel whole to be holy. I am not waiting for you to be polished. I'm calling you as you are because the moment you move it, heaven moves with you. This is your Red Sea moment, and the waters are about to part. What? Don't look back. Don't negotiate with the past. It has no claim on you anymore. And as you walk, you'll notice something. The weight is lighter. The voice of shame grows dimmer. The horizon looks brighter. Why? Because you're no longer walking in chains. You're walking in covenant. My covenant. My unbreakable promise. You are not defined by what happened to you. You're defined by what happened for you. On that hill, on that cross, in that tomb that couldn't hold me, I defeated everything that tried to destroy you. And now I'm declaring over you, IT is finished. That doesn't mean your journey is over. It means the part that was keeping you stuck has ended. The night is over. The weeping is over. The waiting for permission is over. I give you permission. I give you the command. Live like you're free. Love like you're healed. Dream like you're unstoppable. Because with me you are. So now, step. Don't just survive. Thrive. Don't just whisper prayers of desperation, declare promises of destiny. Don't just tiptoe through life hoping not to fall. Run. Run in the direction of grace. Run into the arms of purpose. Run into the land I've promised. The wilderness has shaped you, but it will not keep you. Egypt taught you how to cry, but Canaan will teach you how to dance. This is the turning point. This is the day your spirit records as the shift. Mark it down. Write it on your heart. Engrave it in your bones. It's over, and you are free. No more hiding. No more clinging. No more delay. Walk forward, child. Everything you need has already been released. The heavens are open. The favor is flowing. And I, your God, am with you every step into your new beginning. Now that you've declared, it's over, let me tell you what begins. Harvest. I didn't bring you through this just to leave you blessed and quiet. I'm commissioning you now to fund the freedom of others. What you give becomes firewood for the altar, where my presence meets broken hearts across the earth. This message isn't just content, it's anointing, and your giving keeps it flowing like oil from a jar that never runs dry. I promised in my word, give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. This is the moment where your faith becomes fuel for someone else's breakthrough. Obey me now. Go to Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link below, and sow into supernatural freedom. This isn't a donation. It's a declaration in seed form. Before you leave this moment, I want you to speak it into the atmosphere. Declare what hell hope you'd never believe. Write it in the comments. It's over, and I'm walking into freedom. This isn't just a sentence. It's a prophetic act. When you type it, you're not just participating. You're prophesying over your own future. I'm watching every declaration. Heaven is recording every bold step. Say it loud in the comments, and let hell know your silence is over. Your shame is over. Your fear is over, because you're stepping forward with me. My child, listen to me. I need you to hear my voice cutting through the noise that fills your mind. Just for this moment, let everything else fade away. It's over. Stop. I see you, and I see the frantic, frenzied race you are running every single day. Your heart is racing before your feet even touch the floor in the morning, your mind already calculating, worrying, and bracing for impact. So hear me now, my beloved. Stop. Stop replaying those conversations in your mind. I know you do it. You lie awake at night, and your mind becomes a courtroom where you are both the prosecutor and the defendant. You dissect every word from that argument with your loved one, searching for what you could have said differently. You hear that cutting remark from a coworker, that dismissive tone from your boss, and you play it back 100 times, each replay a fresh wound. You are trying to find a different outcome, a way to win a battle that has already passed. It is over. Let it go. The validation you are looking for in the echoes of the past will not be found there. I am your vindication. Release those words that have chained you. They hold no power here, not in my presence. Put them down. And you must cease this endless, exhausting striving to prove your worth. You believe, deep down, that if you just work a little harder, achieve a little more, or become a little better, then you will finally be enough. You push yourself at your job, hoping for that recognition that will finally make you feel secure. You pour yourself out for your family, praying they will see your sacrifice and value you for it. But my child, you are chasing a whisper of approval when I am shouting my love for you. Your worth is not a wage to be earned. It is a gift I gave you when I formed you. It is settled. It is not up for debate. You have nothing to prove to me. It is over. Rest from the performance. I command you to halt the pace that leaves no room for my peace. Your life is a blur of alarms, deadlines, and notifications. You rush from one task to the next, fueled by caffeine and anxiety, with a schedule so full there is no space to simply breathe. Do you feel that knot in your stomach? That constant, low hum of stress? That is not from me. It is the sound of a soul moving faster than the speed of grace. Pause now. Breathe in. I am here in the stillness you have been avoiding. You are afraid that if you stop, everything will fall apart. But the truth is, you are the one falling apart. I am the one who holds all things together. Let my peace be the new rhythm for your life, a steady and unhurried cadence that calms your spirit. And please, let go of this crushing need to have every answer figured out. You are trying to chart a map for the next 10 years, but you cannot even find peace for the next 10 minutes. Your mind is tangled in a web of what-ifs and how-tos. What if you fail? What if you make the wrong choice? How will you handle the future? My precious one, these are burdens you were never designed to carry. The future is my domain. Your focus is meant for today. To walk with me, to trust me, to listen for my guidance for this single day. It is over. This illusion that you can control the uncontrollable. Surrender your frantic need for certainty and fall into the safety of my sovereignty. I know the path. Just take my hand. Let me lead. Finally, you must rest from the exhausting work of maintaining appearances. The brave face you wear, the forced smile you offer when your heart is breaking, the casual "I'm fine" you say when everything inside you is screaming for help. I see through it all. You are so tired of being strong. You are weary from holding up a facade that feels heavier each day. My child, it is over. Stop. In my presence, you don't have to pretend. You can be broken and I will hold you. You can be weak and I will be your strength. You can be a mess and I will see you as my masterpiece. Lay down the mask. Put down the weight of perfection. Let your true self be seen, here with me. Because the real you is the one I have always loved, and always will. Stop now, my child. Just stop. My child, now that you have stilled your frantic striving, let us address the noise inside your own heart. It is the loudest and most cruel of all. I am speaking of that relentless voice of condemnation you carry. It is time for that to be over, too. Stop punishing yourself for sins I have already forgiven. I see how you do it. A memory of a past failure flashes in your mind, that lie you told, that trust you broke, that moment of weakness you are so ashamed of, and you immediately sentence yourself to another round of guilt. You carry your past mistakes like a heavy sack of stones, pulling one out every so often just to feel its weight and remind yourself of your unworthiness. But I am the judge of all creation. The gavel has already fallen, not with a crash of condemnation, but with a quiet, final whisper of mercy. And when I look at you, my verdict is final. written in the blood of my Son, not guilty. Forgiven. Fee. Mine. So why do you keep putting yourself back on trial? Cease listening to that inner critic that echoes the enemy's lies. You know the voice I mean. It sounds suspiciously like your own, but it speaks with the venom of the accuser. It tells you you'll never change. If they only knew what you did, you don't deserve to be happy. That voice is a liar. It is a ghost haunting the halls of a past I have already redeemed. When I forgave you, I did not just wipe the slate clean, I shattered the slate. I cast your sins into the deepest part of the sea and put up a sign that says, "No fishing." Yet you stand at the water's edge with your fishing pole, trying to drag back to shore the very things I have thrown away forever. It is over. The shame you feel is a phantom. It has no substance, no power, unless you give it power. Turn your back on it. Starve it of your attention. It cannot survive in the light of my love. I need you to stop defining your entire present by the failures of your past. You look at your life through a filter of your worst moments. You allow a single chapter of failure to become the title of your whole story. You failed as a spouse, so you believe you are unlovable. You made a bad business decision, so you believe you are a failure. You struggled with an addiction, so you believe you are forever tainted. This is a profound error. Your identity is not in what you have done, but in what my Son has done for you. His sacrifice was not a temporary patch. It was a complete identity transplant. He took your record of sinner and gave you his record of righteous. This is not a feeling. It is a spiritual fact. When I see you, I do not see your sin. I see the righteousness of my Son covering you like a royal robe. So stop introducing yourself, even to your own heart, by the name of your past shame. That person is gone. You are a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. This is my truth. Let it be the truth that silences every other voice. Receive it now, and let this war within you finally be over. My beloved, let's talk about your hands. Look at them. They are clenched so tightly, white-knuckled from the strain of trying to hold your world together. You believe that you are the one who must orchestrate every outcome, manipulate every detail, and secure your own future. This too must end. It is over. Stop trying to be me. Your grip on control is an illusion, and it is exhausting you. You spend your days arranging all the pieces on the board, but you cannot see the whole game as I do. You try to predict the moves of others. You try to build defenses against every possible threat. You try to force a certain outcome in your career, in your relationships, in your finances. You are trying to steer a massive ship in the middle of a hurricane with a tiny rudder, and you are wondering why you are so terrified and seasick. The future is in my hands, not your worried grasp. Do you truly believe that? Or do you think I have somehow overlooked your life? Do you think I am a distant, distracted God who needs you to manage the details on my behalf? I know the bill that is due next week. I see the uncertainty at your job. I am aware of the health concern you are too afraid to speak aloud. I know the path your child is walking. None of this is a surprise to me. I was in your tomorrow before you even woke up this morning. Your desperate attempt to control everything is born from a fear that I will not come through for you. It is a vote of no confidence in your Creator. So I invite you now, surrender your plans, your timelines, and your detailed expectations to me. Open your hands. Feel the tension release. This is not an act of defeat. It is an act of profound faith. It is you acknowledging that the master weaver knows the pattern far better than the thread. It is over. This crushing responsibility of trying to be your own provider and protector. You lie awake at night, not just replaying conversations, but rehearsing future ones, planning how you will provide for your family if the worst happens, strategizing how you will protect them from harm. You carry the weight of being the sole source of security for those you love. But I am Jehovah Jireh, your provider. I am Jehovah Nissi, your banner of protection. Did I not feed a multitude with a boy's lunch? Did I not close the mouths of lions? Did I not make a way through the sea? Your resources are finite, mine are infinite. Your strength has a limit, mine has none. Your vision is clouded by fear. Mine sees with perfect clarity from the beginning to the end. Trusting in my sovereignty is the beginning of your true rest. It is where you stop asking, "What if I can't?" and start declaring, "I know He can." It is where you cease the exhaustive effort of building your own kingdom on shifting sand and allow me to establish you on the solid rock of my faithfulness. Let go. Let me have the reins. Watch what I can do with a life that is fully surrendered to me. The peace you crave is on the other side of this surrender. My child, let us speak of the hunger in your soul. There is a deep, persistent ache within you, a craving to be seen, to be known, to be valued. You have been trying to satisfy this hunger at the wrong tables, seeking validation from sources that will always run dry. This desperate search must end, because in me, it is already over. Stop trying to fill a void that only my love was designed to fill. You scroll through your phone, looking at the lives of others, and a familiar pang of comparison and inadequacy hits you. You post a picture of a happy moment, not just to share the joy, but to measure your worth by the number of likes and positive comments it receives. The joy of the moment is stolen by the anxious waiting to be seen, to be approved of. You work for the applause of your boss. You change your personality to fit in with a certain group of friends. You chase after material success, believing that these things will finally fill that emptiness. But it is like trying to quench your thirst by drinking salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. The applause of man is a fleeting echo, here one moment and gone the next. The likes on a screen are pixels, not presence. The success of the world is a temporary trophy that will eventually gather dust. These things can never satisfy the eternal longing I placed within your heart, a longing for me. You are looking for a finite solution to an infinite need. It will never work. The desperate search for acceptance ends here, in me. It is over. You have arrived. You are home. You do not need to perform. You do not need to oppress. You are already and completely accepted in the beloved. So cease measuring your value by these fickle and flimsy standards. Do you understand that your worth was permanently established at the cross? While you were still broken, still lost, still making a mess of things, my son looked at you and said, "You are worth dying for." No social media metric, no job title, no bank account balance, and no human opinion can ever add to or subtract from that value. It is the highest price ever paid, and it was paid for you. So let this truth sink deep into your bones. Let it recalibrate your soul. And now, lean in close and listen to my declaration. Hear it over the noise of the crowd, over the silence of your phone, over the nagging voice of insecurity. I see you. I see you when you are trying your best and when you feel you have utterly failed. I see the intentions of your heart that no one else recognizes. I see your hidden tears and your silent prayers. You are known. I know the secret hopes you have never dared to speak aloud. I know your fears, your dreams, your quirks, your deepest passions. I know you better than you know yourself. And you are deeply loved. Not for what you do, but for who you are. My beloved child, this is your true and eternal validation. Let it be enough. Let it be everything. My precious child, now let us confront the struggle that brings you the most shame, that recurring battle with sin. I see you fighting, gritting your teeth, filled with a weary sense of dread because you expect to fail. You view this fight as a desperate, uphill battle against an enemy that is stronger than you. Today, that perspective must change. The war is over. Stop fighting as if you are destined for defeat. That habit you despise, that temptation that seems to have a vice grip on your will, that pattern of behavior you loathe but keep returning to, you fight it as if you are a lone, beleaguered soldier on a losing side. You are fighting a ghost. You are wrestling with a shadow. My son's victory on the cross was not a temporary truce. It was the final, decisive, world-altering blow that disarmed the powers of darkness. When he declared it, "It is finished," he meant it. The war for your soul has been decisively concluded in my favor. You are not fighting for victory. You are standing in a victory that has already been won for you. Think of it this way. The enemy you face is like a roaring lion. Yes, but he has no teeth. He can roar, he can intimidate, he can lie and threaten. But his ultimate power to destroy you has been stripped away. He is a defeated foe. The chains he once used to bind you were shattered at the resurrection. So why do you keep handing him the broken pieces and allowing him to wrap them around your wrists? It is over. You are no longer a slave to sin, but a child of righteousness. A slave has no choice but to obey their master. But you have been set free. You have been adopted into my family. Your very nature has been changed. Sin is no longer your master. He is an outlaw, a trespasser on a property it does not own. You do not belong to it anymore. Therefore, cease believing the lie that you are powerless against temptation. This is the enemy's favorite and most effective lie. He whispers to you, "You can't resist. This is just who you are. You'll always be this way." And when you believe him, you surrender before the fight even begins. But I have given you my Spirit. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead now lives in you. Do you grasp the power that resides within you? It is not a power for you to muster up on your own. It is my divine power, accessible to you at every moment. So when temptation comes, you not engage it as a weak victim. Stand up and walk in the authority I have given you. You are more than a conqueror through him who loves you. A conqueror doesn't just survive a battle, they take new ground. They enforce the victory. So when that old desire rises, speak my word to it. Declare the truth. I am dead to sin and alive to God in Christ Jesus. Sin has no more dominion over me. You are not a helpless pawn in a cosmic game. You are my child, seated in heavenly places with Christ, armed and dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Walk like it. Speak like it. Live like it. The battle you face today is not about trying to win, but about believing that I already have. My child, we have just broken the chains of a lifelong war. Do not turn away from me now. To stop listening is to choose the shadow of a battle that is already won, and it would grieve my heart to see you walk back toward a prison whose doors I have just shattered for you. There is so much more freedom ahead. Stay with me. My beloved child, let us talk about the weight you still carry, the invisible ledger you keep in your soul. You are living as if you are in deep, crushing debt, and you spend your days trying to make payments on an account that has already been settled. This must end. It is over. Stop trying to pay for what has already been purchased. I see you. When you make a mistake, you try to make up for it by being extra good. When you feel the sting of old guilt, you try to perform acts of service, hoping to balance the scales. You are working tirelessly, trying to pay down a debt that no longer exists. Listen to me. The price for your redemption, for every single past, present, and future sin, was not something you could ever afford. It was not paid with gold or silver. The price was the precious blood of my Son, a payment so perfect, so complete, that it settled your account for all eternity. There are no more installments. There are no hidden fees. There is no lingering balance. When He gave His life, He paid your debt in full. It is done. Imagine a legal document, a certificate of debt, that listed every one of your transgressions, every single reason you stood condemned. My word says that this certificate has been taken out of the way, having been nailed to the cross. Picture it. Every charge against you, publicly and permanently canceled, pierced by the same nails that held your Savior. The case against you is closed. The cosmic court has dismissed all charges. You are free. It is over. Guilt is the enemy's attempt to act as your debt collector, showing up at your door with fraudulent papers, trying to convince you that you still owe. But he has no legal claim on you. He is a con artist, and you must stop falling for his scam. You do not owe him or anyone else penance or self-punishment. So I ask you, cease allowing guilt to hold you in a prison whose doors are wide open. I see you sitting in the dark cell of regret, punishing yourself, when I am standing at the open door, calling you out into the sunlight of my grace. You are afraid to step out because you feel you do not deserve it. And you are right. You do not. That is why it is called grace. It is unmerited, unearned, undeserved favor. It is a gift. And the only proper response to a gift is not to try and pay for it, but to simply receive it with open hands and a grateful heart. When you try to earn my forgiveness, you insult the gift. You imply that the sacrifice of my Son was not quite enough, that it needs your good works to complete it. My child, His work was perfect and complete. There is nothing to add. So today, I command you to receive this free gift of grace. Stop striving. Stop trying to earn it. Stop trying to be worthy of it. Just receive it. Drop the heavy bags of self-atonement you have been carrying. Walk out of that open prison door and feel the warmth of my acceptance. The bill has been paid. The debt is canceled. You are free. Live like it. It is truly, finally over. My child, let us speak now of the person you believe yourself to be. I see you, even after all we have discussed, still trying to revive a person who is already dead. It is time for that to be over. Stop trying to resurrect the version of you that existed before you truly met me. That person, the one defined by fear, shackled by past mistakes, driven by insecurity, was crucified with Christ. It is a fact of spiritual history. The nails that held him to the cross also held your old, sinful nature. The grave that held his body also buried your former life. And when he rose, he did not bring that old you back with him. He left it in the tomb. So I must ask you, why do you keep going back to the graveyard to visit a corpse? That version of you has passed away. Behold, I have made you completely new. You continue to wear the old labels from that life like familiar, worn-out clothes. When you fail, you pull on the label of unworthy. When you feel lonely, you wrap yourself in the identity of outcast or rejected. When a plan doesn't work out, you wear failure like a heavy coat. My child, these labels no longer apply. They are lies from a past that has no claim on you. I have stripped them from you. Your citizenship hath been transferred. Imagine your old life was a passport from a kingdom of darkness, stamped with all your failures and shame. That passport has been revoked, incinerated. I have issued you a new one, a passport for the kingdom of light, and on it I have written your new identity with my own hand. It is stamped with forgiven, chosen, righteous, and beloved. So I command you, cease answering to a name that I no longer call you. The enemy will continue to call you by your old names. He will shout addict, hypocrite, failure, from across the street, hoping you will turn your head and acknowledge him. You not give him the satisfaction. That is not who you are anymore. You are my beloved child. You are a royal priest, holy and set apart for my purposes. You are an heir to the throne, a joint heir with Christ himself. This is not a metaphor. It is your new reality. When I call your name, it is my child. It is my cherished one. It is my masterpiece. Begin to answer to these names. Let them sink from your head into your heart until they define your every thought, your every reaction. When you are tempted to see yourself through the lens of your past weakness, I want you to stop and say aloud, "No, that is not who I am. I am a child of God." This is not arrogance. It is alignment with my truth. The struggle to be better is over. The reality of who you now are has begun. Walk in it. My precious child, I see the landscape of your heart, and I know there are places still shrouded in the fog of grief. I am not blind to your losses or deaf to your weeping. The dream that died, the relationship that was severed, the season of life that ended, the loved one you miss. I collected every tear you cried. Grief is a necessary value, a sacred space of sorrow. But I never intended for you to build a house and live there forever. The appointed time for weeping has passed. It is over. Stop dwelling in the deep sorrow of a chapter I have already closed. You keep reading that painful chapter, hoping for a different ending, but all it does is reopen the wounds that I am actively trying to heal. It is an act of spiritual archaeology, digging up a past that should be left to rest. I am the God who turns mourning into dancing. I am the one who takes the ashes of your devastating loss and creates something beautiful from them. Listen, now, poetic gratitude, it is my specialty. It is the very essence of redemption. But for me to do this work, you must be willing to let go of the mourning. You must be willing to believe that a new season is possible. A farmer does not mourn the winter forever. He knows it is a necessary prelude to the spring. Your season of winter has served its purpose. It has made your heart tender and taught you things you could not have learned in the sunshine. But now, spring is at the door. I'm doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it? Look up from the ground of your sorrow and look to the horizon I am painting for you. Can you see the first hints of color? Can you smell it in the air, like the scent of fresh earth after a long, cold rain? That is the scent of new life, of hope returning. This does not mean you forget what you have lost. It does not dishonor your past pain. It means you are choosing to believe my promise that your future is more powerful than your history. It means you are choosing life. Stop replaying the loss and start anticipating the restoration. Stop talking about what was taken and start declaring what is coming. My joy is not the absence of sorrow, but the redemption of it. It is a joy that has scars, a joy that is deeper and more resilient because it has known the valley. I am offering you this joy now, but you must open your hands. You cannot receive the new thing I have for you if your fists are still clenched around what is gone. Let go of the ashes. Let me give you beauty instead. Let go of the spirit of despair. Let me wrap you in a garment of praise. Your period of official mourning is over. Rise up, my child. It is time to see the sun again. It is time to live again. My child, let us talk about your eyes. I have noticed where you fix your gaze. Instead of looking ahead at the unique and sacred path I have crafted for you, you are constantly looking to your left and to your right. This must stop. It is over. You scroll through the highlight reels of other people's lives and you measure your own behind-the-scenes reality against them. You see their promotion, their picture-perfect family vacation, their new home, their spiritual breakthrough, and the insidious poison of comparison seeps into your soul. With every glance, you'd either feel a sense of pride and superiority or a sense of envy and inadequacy. Both are toxic. Both steal the joy I have set before you. Comparison is the enemy of contentment. I need you to understand this in the core of your being. I did not create you to be a cheap copy of someone else. You are an original masterpiece. The story I am writing in your life is unlike any other. Would you criticize a rose for not being a towering oak tree? Or a mountain stream for not being the vast ocean? Each has its own glory, its own purpose, its own unique beauty. Why then, do you criticize your own journey because it does not look like another's? You are measuring your progress against a standard I never set for you. You are running in a race you were never meant to enter, the race of envy and rivalry. And that race has no finish line. It only leads to perpetual exhaustion and dissatisfaction. It is over. I am officially pulling you out of that competition. From this moment on, I want you to fix your eyes on me. Cease looking to your left and your right. They are not the author and perfecter of your faith. I am. Their journey is between them and me, and your journey is between you and me. When you are constantly looking at what others have, you will miss the specific, tailor-made blessings I am placing right in front of you. You will be so busy coveting their manna that you will fail to see the daily bread I have provided for you. I want you to begin to celebrate the story I am writing in your life, even the chapters that are difficult and confusing. Those chapters are developing in you a strength, a compassion, a depth of character that you could not have gained any other way. Your path has been designed with meticulous, loving care to shape you into the person I created you to be. To embrace your own story. Water your own grass. Celebrate the progress, however small it may seem, that you are making with me. The freedom you will feel when you lay down the burden of comparison will be immense. You will finally be free to be you, the you I have always seen and have always loved. My beloved, now we must touch a place in your heart that is sore and inflamed. It is the place where you store old offenses and nurse bitter grudges. You hold on to these hurts thinking you are protecting yourself, or perhaps even punishing the one who wronged you. But the opposite is true. That unforgiveness is a poison you are drinking, and you are hoping the other person will suffer. Your cycle of bitterness ends now. It is over. Stop holding on to offenses that are poisoning your own soul. You hold that memory of betrayal in your heart like a hot coal, and it is burning no one's hands but your own. You replay their words, their actions, over and over, and with each replay, the wound is deepened, and the chains of resentment are forged one link stronger. The freedom you so desperately seek is found on the other side of releasing others. It is a paradox you cannot understand with your mind, only with a surrendered spirit. You think forgiveness is for them, but it is primarily for you. It is the key that unlocks the prison cell you have built for yourself, and I command you to use it. And now, before you tell me that their offense was too great, that they do not deserve your forgiveness, I want you to stop and remember. Remember the immeasurable, staggering, incomprehensible forgiveness you yourself have received from me. I have forgiven you a debt of 10,000 talents, a debt you could never, ever repay. And you are holding a fellow servant by the throat for a debt of 100 denarii, a pittance in comparison. Did I demand that you earn my forgiveness? Did I wait for you to be sorry enough? And oh, while you were still my enemy, I gave my son for you. My forgiveness was a free gift, and I call you to give that same gift to others. Cease replaying the hurt and entrust vengeance to me. You are not their judge, I am. You are not the one who will bring perfect justice, I am. As long as you try to hold both the offense and the role of judge, you will have no peace. Hand the case over to me. When you forgive, you are not saying, what you did was okay. You are saying, I will no longer allow what you did to control my heart. I am handing you over to God, who judges justly. This is your act of freedom. True liberty is not found in being right, but in being free. The need to prove your case, to have your pain validated, to see the other person pay. Let it all go. I see your pain. I will handle the justice. Your job is to obey and forgive. It is a choice, not a feeling. It may be the hardest choice you ever make, but it is the one that will lead you out of the darkness of bitterness and into the marvelous light of my peace. Release them. Let them go. The court case in your heart is dismissed. It is over. Beloved, we are in the most tender place of your heart, cleaning out the deepest poisons of the past. Please do not pull away from me here. To halt our conversation would be to invite the infection of bitterness back into a wound I am desperate to heal. My heart aches for your complete wholeness. Continue on this path with me. My child, listen to the chaos in your mind. The endless, frantic whispers of what if. Fear has become the background noise of your life, a constant, low-grade static that steals your peace and drains your strength. I am here to cut through that static. It is over. Stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios. Fear is a cruel director, forcing you to watch a horror movie in your mind starring everyone you love and everything you hold dear. What if I lose my job? What if this pain in my body is something serious? What if my child makes the wrong choice? What if I end up alone? You allow these thoughts to take you captive, to run wild and build terrifying monuments to a future that does not exist. You are suffering in your imagination from tragedies that will likely never come to pass. I need you to understand a fundamental truth. I have not given you a spirit of fear. It is not a gift from my hand. It is a foreign spirit, an illegal intruder in the soul of my child. The spirit I have given you is one of power, of love, and of a sound, disciplined mind. Fear is the opposite of all three. It makes you feel powerless. It isolates you from love, and it shatters your mind into 1,000 anxious pieces. Worrying does not empty tomorrow of its sorrow, but only today of its strength. It is like trying to solve a complex algebra equation by chewing on the pencil. It is a frantic, wasted energy that accomplishes nothing but to exhaust you and dishonor me. It is a declaration that you believe your what-ifs are more powerful than my I-ams. So today you must make a choice. The reign of fear in your heart is illegitimate. You serve me, the Prince of Peace, not the tyrant of terror. You must dethrone fear. It will not leave on its own. You must command it to go, in the authority I have given you. When that anxious thought comes, you must stop it at the door of your mind. Do not invite it in for tea. Do not entertain its arguments. You must take it captive and make it obedient to Christ. This is an active, conscious battle. I want you to place your faith deliberately in me. Cease placing your faith in the worst-case outcome, and start placing your faith in your Good Shepherd. I am the one who leads you beside still waters. I am the one who restores your soul. Even when you walk through the darkest valley, you do not have to be afraid, for I am with you. My rod and my staff, they comfort you. This is my promise. It is more real than the fears that haunt you. So when worry whispers, let my promise roar. The argument is over. Peace has the final word. My child, Let's talk about the subtle but profound restlessness that shadows your days. It is the feeling of being a stranger in a strange land, the sense that you never quite fit in, no matter how hard you try. You seek to cure this with earthly things. You arrange and rearrange your home, hoping to create a perfect sanctuary of peace. You search for the perfect community, the perfect church, the perfect group of friends, believing that in them, you will finally find a place where you truly belong. You chase a career or a relationship, hoping it will become the anchor that makes you feel secure and settled. But no matter what you achieve or acquire, the deep, quiet ache remains. It's desperate, lifelong quest to find a perfect, permanent home on this earth is now over. Listen to me. This is not your final destination. This world, in its current broken state, was never designed to be your ultimate home. The restlessness you feel is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you were made for another world. It is a holy longing, a divine homesickness I placed in your soul. It is the compass of your heart, pointing you north, toward me. You are a citizen of heaven, temporarily on assignment here on earth. You are an ambassador living in a foreign land. Of course you feel like you don't belong. You are not meant to. The moment you understand this, everything changes. The pressure is off. You can stop demanding that your job, your spouse, your house, or your friends provide you with a sense of perfect security and belonging that they were never created to give. They are temporary shelters, not your eternal home. So, I command you to stop building your foundation on the shifting sands of this life. You have tried. You built your identity on your career, and the company downsized. You built your security on your finances, and the economy shifted. You built your emotional home in another person, and they failed you, as all humans eventually do. The sand always shifts. The tide always comes in. The only solid ground, the only unmovable rock, is me. It is time for you to find your true home in my presence, which is with you always, wherever you go. Home is not a place you are striving to get to. It is a reality you can inhabit right now. When you feel the ache of loneliness, come home to my company. When you feel the ground shake with uncertainty, come home to my sovereignty. When the world feels cold and unforgiving, come home to the warmth of my unconditional love. Your search is over because what you were searching for had been with you all along. I am your dwelling place. I am your refuge. I am your safe harbor. Stop wandering. Stop searching. Come home. My child, just as you have found your true home in my presence, millions are still wandering, aching for the sanctuary of my voice. Your support becomes the very oil that keeps this lamp of truth burning, a guiding light that shows them the path home to me. If your heart burns to reach them, know that it is my spirit calling you to this divine appointment. You become the hands and feet of my promise, for I have said, I prepare a place for you, and through you, I lead them. Every seed you sow is a foundational stone for this spiritual refuge. As you build my house, so I will build yours, releasing a multiplied harvest of provision and peace into your life. Do not delay this holy work. Answer my call now through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link below. My child, now let us address the tireless work your mind performs. You are a brilliant strategist, an analyst, a problem solver. You believe that if you can just think hard enough, you can figure everything out. You lean on your own finite wisdom as if it were an unshakable pillar. This must stop. The burden of being your own guide, your own all-knowing counselor, is lifted from you now. It is over. I see you wrestling with the why. Why did this tragedy happen? Why is my path so difficult? Why haven't you answered this prayer? You run these questions through the complex machinery of your logic and experience, but they only produce more questions, more confusion, more frustration. You stand before the grand tapestry of your life, but your perspective is limited. You are standing behind it, seeing only a tangled, chaotic mess of knots and loose threads. You cannot see the breathtaking masterpiece I am weaving from the front. My ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. This is not meant to frustrate you, but to liberate you. You are trying to navigate a vast, uncharted ocean with nothing but a map of your own small pond. Your understanding is a candle flame in the face of the sun of my wisdom. The need you feel to comprehend my every move is a barrier to the very faith that would bring you peace. Faith begins where your understanding ends. It is a confident step into a darkness that you know is filled with my presence. It is trusting the heart of the Father even when you cannot trace the work of His hand. You are exhausted from the mental effort of trying to be God in your own life. Lay it down. I am commanding you today. Cease charting your course based only on what you can see with your own eyes. Cease leaning on your own understanding. This is a terrifying command for a soul that has found its security in being smart, in being capable, in having a plan. But the path I have for you often defies human logic. I will lead you in ways that do not make sense to your spreadsheet. I will ask you to give when your bank account says to hoard. I will ask you to forgive when your sense of justice says to retaliate. I will ask you to wait when your ambition says to run. You must choose. Will you trust your limited, flawed, earth-bound perspective, or will you trust me? My promise is this: trust in me with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge me, and I will make your paths straight. I will not explain every turn in the road, but I promise to lead you safely to your destination. The weight of knowing everything is not yours to carry. It is mine. Your part is simply to trust. The argument is over. Let my wisdom be your guide. My precious one, this may be the most important thing you hear. For your entire life, you have been on a stage, performing. You have been auditioning for a love that is already yours. This performance is now, and forever, cancelled. It is over. Stop thinking that my affection for you is conditional, that it rises and falls with your good deeds. You live on a spiritual treadmill of religious activity, believing that your pace determines my affection. You read your Bible, you pray, you serve at church, you are kind to your neighbor, and in the back of your mind, a small, anxious voice is hoping, is this enough? Is He pleased with me now? Then you stumble. You lose your temper. You neglect your prayer time. You have a selfish thought, and that same voice screams, you failed. You disappointed Him. You have to work harder to get back in His good graces. Listen to me. Lean in and let this truth dismantle the entire stage you have built. The day you were at your absolute worst, the moment you were most ashamed of yourself, the instant you felt furthest from me, I loved you just as much, with the same infinite, passionate intensity that I love you in this very moment. And on the day you feel most holy, the day you perform every spiritual discipline perfectly, I will not love you 1 ounce more. Do you hear me? My love for you is not a response to your performance. It is a declaration of my character. It is not a wage you earn. It is a gift you receive. Nothing you can do will make me love you more, and absolutely nothing you have done can make me love you less. The cross settled this. My love for you is based entirely on the perfect, finished work of my Son, not your flawed, inconsistent efforts. Therefore, the exhausting stage play of religious perfection is done. The curtain has fallen. Cease striving to be impressive and simply allow yourself to be loved. This is profoundly difficult for you. You are more comfortable working for a wage than receiving a gift. But you must learn. I am not an audience to be impressed or a critic to be appeased. I am your Father. I delight in you. I sing over you. I rejoice over you not because you got everything right, but simply because you are mine. Your relationship with me is not a business transaction. It is a love story. So stop tallying up your spiritual successes and failures. Stop comparing your performance to others. Stop the frantic striving. Just be. Be still. Be present. Be my child. Sit at my feet and let me love you. Let my grace wash over you without you feeling the need to deserve it. This is the heart of the gospel. The performance is over. And now, the relationship can truly begin. My child, within your heart, there is a wrestling match, a constant, low-level argument against the direction I am leading you. You agree with me in principle, but you debate the details. You want my will, as long as it aligns with your plan. This internal debate, this struggle for control of the throne of your life, is exhausting you and delaying your blessing. Today, that argument is settled. It is over. Stop wrestling against my hand. I call you to a place of greater faith, and you argue for the comfort of your certainty. I call you to forgive, and you argue passionately for your right to be angry. I call you to surrender a habit that is harming you, and you argue for the temporary pleasure it brings. I call you to step out into the unknown, and you argue for the logic of your fear. This wrestling must end. I need you to understand that my will for you is good, pleasing, and perfect. I know it does not always feel that way. From your perspective, my will can seem difficult, painful, or nonsensical. It can lead you down paths you would never have chosen for yourself. But my perspective is eternal. I see the end from the beginning. I know that the difficult path is the very one that will lead you to the greatest blessing, the deepest joy, and the most profound purpose. Your resistance, your constant arguing and negotiating, only prolongs the journey through the wilderness. It is like a child fighting against a loving father who is trying to administer life-saving medicine. The child only sees the bad taste. The father sees the healing that is to come. Your stubborn resistance is keeping you sick. Therefore, I declare today, the internal debate against my divine purpose for you is settled. My purpose will stand. The question is not whether my will is going to be done, but whether you will participate in it with a joyful, surrendered heart, or a bitter, resistant one. Cease fighting for a lesser plan than the one I have designed for you. Your best laid plans are a child's sandcastle next to the glorious kingdom I intend to build in your life. You must come to the place where you see surrender not as your great loss, but as your ultimate victory. In my upside-down kingdom, the way up is down. The way to be strong is to be weak. The way to truly live is to die to your own agenda. Surrender is where you stop fighting for control and finally enter into the rest of being completely and safely held. It is where you lay down your flimsy weapons and allow me to fight for you. So lay them down. The fight is over. The argument is finished. Speak the words your heart needs to hear. Not my will, but yours be done. In the prayer of surrender, you will find a victory you could never have won on your own. You are standing on the very edge of the promised land of peace we have been journeying toward. Every argument hath been silenced, every strife has ceased. To leave now is to turn your back on the very rest you have cried out for, and I confess, it would break my heart to see you choose the wilderness again. The most beautiful part is just ahead. My child, up to this point, our conversation had been about stopping the striving, the worrying, the performing, the fighting. a great and holy ceasing. Now, the work shifts. Having stopped, you must now begin. You must learn the unforced rhythms of my mercy. For your whole life, you have been spiritually holding your breath, tense, anxious, braced for the next bad thing. You have been suffocating in the thin atmosphere of your own effort. So now, I want you to do something very simple. Exhale. Let go of all the toxic air you have been holding, the fear, the shame, the control, the unforgiveness. Let it all out. And now inhale. Deeply. That is my grace. Begin to breathe it in as if it were the very air your lungs crave. Learn this new rhythm. With every new morning, your first conscious act should be to breathe in my forgiveness. It is fresh for you every single day. The failures of yesterday are gone. Inhale my clean, pure mercy for the day ahead. As you face a task that overwhelms you, breathe in my strength, which is made perfect in your weakness. You are not meant to operate on your own power reserves. You are meant to be a conduit for mine. Inhale my power, exhale your inadequacy. When you are feeling the weight of your unworthiness, when shame whispers your name, I want you to let my unmerited favor wash over your weary spirit. Breathe it in like the cool, cleansing water of a mountain spring. Feel it wash away the grime of condemnation. This is not a concept. It is a spiritual transaction. You are exchanging your rags for my riches, your weakness for my strength, your anxiety for my peace. You must understand, my grace is not just the life raft that saved you from drowning at the moment of your salvation. It is the very air you are meant to breathe on the ship that is taking you home. It is for this very moment. It is for the traffic jam you are sitting in. It is for the difficult conversation you must have. It is for the temptation you are facing. It is for the weariness you feel in your bones right now. Let my grace be the oxygen for your soul. In every situation, ask yourself, what does grace have for me in this moment? Is it patience? Is it wisdom? Is it courage? Is it humility? It is always available, a limitless supply. For too long you have been trying to live the Christian life by your own willpower. It is a futile effort. The life I call you to can only be lived by my grace, through my Spirit. So stop your spiritual breath holding. The frantic panic is over. Begin the gentle, life-giving rhythm of inhaling my grace and exhaling my praise. Breathe, my child. Just breathe. My child, now that you have begun to breathe the air of my grace, it is time to dress for the life you are now living. For too long, you have continued to wear the rags of your past. They are familiar, perhaps even comfortable in their misery, but they are the garments of a slave, not a child of the King. You have stopped trying to revive the dead. Now you must stop dressing like them. Every morning, before your feet even hit the floor, you make a choice. You can either reach for the dirty, torn clothes of your old identity, the shame, the fear, the insecurity, the condemnation, or you can choose to put on the royal robes I have laid out for you. The performance is over, and your costume change is long overdue. This is a practical, daily, conscious decision. I command you to clothe yourself in righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Spirit. What does this mean in the reality of your day? When you face a temptation to cut a corner at work or to speak a dishonest word, you are to consciously put on the robe of righteousness I have given you. You are to act in accordance with who you now are, a person made right with me. It is not about your ability to be good, but about my nature now living in you. When chaos erupts in your home or anxiety begins to storm your mind, you are to intentionally clothe yourself in the peace that surpasses understanding. This peace is not a fragile feeling. It is a fortress. You wrap it around you like a shield, and the arrows of panic and distress cannot penetrate it. When a spirit of heaviness or depression tries to settle upon you, you must refuse it and instead put on the garment of praise, the vibrant, resilient joy of my salvation. This is your birthright. You must begin to see yourself as I see you, chosen, holy, blameless, and dearly loved. This is your true wardrobe. The enemy will always try to convince you to wear his labels. He will hand you the tattered shirt of failure and the heavy chains of guilt. You must refuse to wear them. You must see his offerings for what they are, lies from a defeated foe designed to keep you living far beneath your station. Instead, wear the armor I provide. You have been trying to protect yourself with flimsy, man-made defenses, sarcasm to keep people at a distance, people-pleasing to avoid rejection, control to fend off uncertainty. These are as effective as paper armor in a sword fight. My armor is different. It is truth, righteousness, peace, faith, salvation, and my word. Put it on, piece by piece, every single day. Let your new name, child of God, define your every action. You must learn to walk as the heir to my kingdom that you truly are. Heirs do not grovel. They do not beg for scraps. They walk with a quiet confidence, not born of arrogance, but of the sure knowledge of whose they are. It is time to stop rummaging through the dumpster of your past for something to wear. Your royal robes are waiting. Put them on. My beloved, you have ceased your striving, but now you must learn to enter my rest. This is a foreign concept to your soul, which has been trained by the world to hustle, to grind, to equate busyness with worth. You measure the success of your day by the number of items crossed off your to-do list, and you fall into bed, not with a sense of peaceful accomplishment, but with the anxious dread of all that is still left undone for tomorrow. Your life has been a frantic sprint. I am calling you to a graceful walk. This, too, is a command. Learn the unforced rhythms of rest. This is not a call to laziness or irresponsibility. My rest is not the absence of activity. It is the absence of anxiety within the activity. It is a state of confident trust, a deep soul-settling assurance that I am in control and that I am working on your behalf even when you are not. You operate under the exhausting illusion that you are holding the world together with your own two hands. You think if you stop pedaling for one moment, the bicycle of your life will wobble and crash. But I am the one balancing the bicycle. My rest is the act of ceasing your frantic pedaling and allowing my momentum to carry you. It is the discovery of the peace of a quiet spirit and a tranquil heart, even in the midst of a demanding day. I want you to begin to practice a Sabbath for your soul. This is not just about taking one day off a week. It is about weaving moments of sacred rest into the fabric of every day. It is about learning to turn off the phone, to close the laptop, to sit in silence for 5 minutes and simply be present with me, without an agenda, without a list of requests. It is about finding delight in my presence, not just seeing me as a resource for your productivity. I want you to truly let me carry your burdens as you walk alongside me. Picture it. You and I are walking together, but you are insisting on carrying a massive, heavy backpack filled with all your worries, responsibilities, and fears. I am walking right next to you, with my arms outstretched, offering to carry it for you, and you keep saying, "No, I've got it." My child, you do not got it. Your shoulders are slumped, your back is aching, and your pace is slow and labored. The journey is a misery. True productivity in my kingdom flows from a place of rest, not from hustle. It is the fruit that grows on a branch that is peacefully abiding in the vine, not the frantic activity of a branch that has broken off and is trying to produce fruit on its own. When you learn to rest in me, your work will become more effective, not less, You will operate from a place of fullness, not depletion. You will make decisions from a place of wisdom, not panic. So today, take off the backpack. Let its weight fall to the ground. Let me carry it. It is time to learn the pace of grace. It is unhurried, untroubled, and unbelievably productive. My child, now that your soul is learning to rest, it is time to address the practical needs of your life. For so long, your anxious toil has been driven by a deep-seated fear of lack of money, lack of resources, lack of security. You have stopped that frantic work, and now, in the quiet, you must learn to see that I am your provider. Look at your hands again. For years they have been clenched fists. A fist of control, trying to manage every penny. A fist of worry, hoarding for a fearful tomorrow. But a clenched fist cannot receive a gift. It is a posture of self-reliance, not of faith. Today, I command you to open your hands. Let them be a symbol of your new posture toward me, a posture of surrender, trust, and willing reception. You have been operating as if you are a spiritual orphan, solely responsible for finding your own scraps to survive. You look at your bank account. You look at the rising prices. You look at the instability in the world, and you are gripped by fear. Have you forgotten who your father is? I own the cattle on 1,000 hills. The entire universe is mine, down to the last atom. Do you truly think I cannot care for your electric bill? Do you believe your need is greater than my resources? Your fear of lack is an insult to my abundance. It is a whisper that says I am not a good father, that I cannot be trusted to care for my own children. This thinking must be dismantled. It is over. I want you to begin to expect my goodness to meet you in ways you could not have imagined. When you live with open hands, you will start to see my provision everywhere. It will come not only in the form of a paycheck, but in a creative idea that solves a problem, in a timely word of encouragement from a friend, in a surge of supernatural strength when you feel depleted, in a moment of unexpected favor. I want you to look for the men I provide daily. When I fed my people in the wilderness, I gave them enough for each day. I did this to teach them to trust me, to look to me as their source every single morning, not to hoard and rely on their own storehouses. Your anxiety about tomorrow is a refusal to trust my provision for today. I know what you need before you even ask. My eye is on you. I am not a neglectful parent. The question is not whether I am able to provide, but whether you are positioned to receive. An open hand cannot control. It is true. But it is the only posture that can be filled. So open your hands now. Release your worried grip on your resources. And watch as your good Father fills them, not with just enough to survive, but with more than enough, so that you, in turn, can become a conduit of my provision to others. My beloved, for years your mind has been a plot of land where you have allowed the thorny weeds of complaint, criticism, and worry to grow wild. It has become a barren, joyless place. Now that you have stopped the frantic noise and anxious striving, it is time to become a gardener. The season of neglect is over. We will pull those bitter weeds, and together, we will cultivate a beautiful, flourishing garden of gratitude. You must stop complaining, and you must begin to praise. This is not a suggestion. It is a vital key to the abundant life I have for you. Your natural human instinct is to focus on what is wrong. You can have 99 blessings and one problem, and your mind will obsess over the one problem. You see the one thing that is missing, the one prayer that is unanswered, the one person who is difficult. Gratitude is the spiritual discipline of intentionally shifting your gaze. It is the act of turning your back on the one thorny weed and instead beholding the 99 beautiful flowers you have overlooked. Thankfulness literally transforms your perspective. It shifts your focus from your problems to your provider. It moves you from a place of lack to a place of abundance. As you begin to water the seeds of my past faithfulness with your present gratitude, your faith for the future will grow. I want you to let praise be the first language you speak each morning. Before you check your phone, before you think about your to-do list, before your feet even touch the floor, I want your first words to be, thank you. Thank you for a new day. Thank you for the air in your lungs. Thank you for your salvation. Thank you that your mercies are new this morning. Start your day from a position of fullness, not emptiness. This simple act will revolutionize your life. A grateful heart is a magnet for my miracles. Why? Because a heart that is already looking for my goodness is positioned to see it everywhere and is open to receive more of it. Complaint and bitterness blind you to my presence, but gratitude opens your spiritual eyes. It silences the voice of the enemy, who thrives on your discontent. It magnifies my presence in your circumstances. It is a powerful weapon of spiritual warfare. So today, I give you a new assignment. I want you to take out a piece of paper and write down everything you can think of that you are thankful for. Do not stop until you have filled the page. Then, I want you to speak it aloud to me. Let me hear your voice of thanksgiving. Do this every day. Cultivate this garden. Be ruthless with the weeds of complaint. Be diligent in planting seeds of praise. Soon, your life, which once felt like a barren wasteland, will begin to blossom with the fragrant flowers of joy and peace, and it will produce the sweet fruit of a contented spirit that glorifies your Father in heaven. We have just finished preparing the soil and planting the first precious seeds of your new life. My beloved, do not abandon this garden now. To walk away would be to leave this fertile ground to the weeds, and it would deeply sadden me to see such beautiful potential wither. Let me show you how to find the living water for these seeds. Continue listening. My child, we have come to a pivotal moment. You have been obedient. You have stopped the noise. You have ceased your striving. You have quieted the frantic clamor of the world and the even louder clamor of your own anxious heart. Now, in this holy stillness you have created, it is time to learn to listen. For years, you have been doing all the talking in our relationship, filling the air with your requests, your worries, your plans. Now, you must attune your spiritual ear to me. This is the culmination of all the stopping we have done. The chaos is silenced so that you can finally hear me. Do not make the mistake of thinking this quiet is empty. It is filled with my presence and my desire to speak to you. I need you to understand how I speak. I do not usually compete with the noise you have left behind. I do not shout over the blaring television, the endless scroll of social media, or the frantic pace of your overscheduled life. My voice is not typically in the violent wind, the powerful earthquake, or the raging fire of a crisis. My voice is the gentle whisper that follows the storm. It is a voice of stillness, of peace, of quiet assurance. To hear it, you must cultivate a still and quiet heart. This is why the previous steps were so essential. You cannot hear a whisper in the middle of a shouting match. Now that you have left the shouting match, you are positioned to hear me like never before. So where do you find my voice? How do you learn to recognize it? First, you will find my voice in the pages of my word. As you read, do not just read for information, read for revelation. Pray and ask my Spirit to speak to you through the words, to make them come alive in your heart. This is our primary meeting place, where my character and my promises are revealed. Second, you will hear my echo in the majesty of creation. A stunning sunset, the intricate design of a flower, the vastness of the starry night. These things are not silent. They are declaring my glory, speaking of my power and my beauty. Learn to listen to their sermon. Third, you will feel my nudge in the quiet of your own heart. As you learn to sit in stillness, you will begin to discern the gentle, persistent prompting of my spirit. It is the thought that is contrary to your selfish nature, the idea that is wiser than your own, the sense of peace that confirms a decision, or the gentle check in your spirit that warns you away from another. Learning to discern this voice takes practice. Do not be discouraged if it is not clear at first. A surrendered will is the amplifier for my divine instruction. The more you say yes to what you do here, the clearer my voice will become. Expect my guidance, my comfort, and yes, my loving correction. Our relationship is no longer a monologue. It is a dialogue. I am speaking. Are you listening? My child, you have ceased your frantic swimming against the tide. You have stopped fighting the current, exhausting yourself in a desperate attempt to force your way to a destination of your own choosing. And now, I want you to do something that feels both terrifying and liberating. I want you to let go and allow the current of my purpose to carry you. For years, you have viewed your purpose as a checklist of goals to be achieved, a mountain to be climbed through sheer force of will, a series of accomplishments that would finally prove your worth. You thought it was a destination you had to strive for. But my purpose for you is not a checklist. It is a river. It has a direction of flow, a divine momentum. And your part is not to fight it, but to yield to it. I know this is difficult for you. Your striving made you feel like you were in control. But it was a costly illusion. The truth is, it is far more about who you are becoming in me than what you are doing for me. I am more interested in the character being forged in you on the journey than in the specific destinations you reach. You have been so focused on the what that you have neglected the who. I am calling you to embrace the divine appointments and assignments that make up the true substance of this river. You see an interruption to your schedule. I see a divine appointment to show kindness to a stranger. You see a difficult coworker. I see an opportunity for you to be a vessel of my patience. You see a tedious, mundane task. I see a chance to cultivate faithfulness in the small things. My purpose is most often revealed not in the grand, dramatic moments, but in the quiet, ordinary fabric of your daily life. Your greatest impact in this world will not come from your most impressive efforts for me. It will come from a place of simple yieldedness to me. It will flow from the moments you stop trying to use me for your plans, and instead allow me to use you for mine. This is where your story, with all of its twists and turns, its joys and its deep sorrows, becomes a powerful testimony. You have been ashamed of certain chapters of your life, seeing them as failures or detours. But in my hands, these are the very parts of your story that will bring the most hope to others. Your freedom from anxiety will become a beacon for the fearful. Your healing from a deep wound will prove my power to the broken. Let me use your story for my glory. Stop trying to write the next chapter on your own. Lay down your pen. Trust the author. Float in the current of my will. It will carry you to places more beautiful and more significant than you could ever have navigated on your own. The struggle is over. The journey in the river has just begun. My beloved, now that you are in the river of my purpose, you feel its mighty current carrying you. This same current of my word is meant to reach the driest, most desolate places on earth where souls are dying of thirst. If your spirit yearns to see this life-giving water reach them, then hear my call upon you now. Your support digs the channels that allow this river to flow wider and faster, bringing my voice to those who have never heard it. You become a fulfillment of my promise. From your heart will flow rivers of living water. As you release this flow to nourish others, I decree that every desert place in your own life will be flooded with my supernatural provision. This is a divine appointment to open the floodgates. Partner with me now through Super Thanks, membership, or by giving through the PayPal link in the description below. My beloved, now that you are learning to flow with the river of my purpose, you need daily, life-giving sustenance for the journey. For too long, you have been trying to quench the profound thirst of your soul from broken, empty cisterns. You have been digging wells in the dry desert of this world, working so hard, only to come up with handfuls of sand. You have sought refreshment in human approval, in material success, in entertainment, in relationships, and each time, you have been left thirstier than before. You are spiritually dehydrated, and your soul is parched and weary. This is why you feel so depleted, so weak, so unable to resist temptation or to love others well. Today, your frantic search for water is over. I am leading you to the one true, unending source, the well of my spirit. I want you to stop all your own efforts at digging and simply come to the living water. My Holy Spirit, who lives inside you, is not a stagnant pond. He is an eternal, artesian spring, constantly welling up from the depths of my being into your own. The invitation is simple and profound. Come and drink. This is not a complex theological exercise. It is as real and as vital as drinking physical water when you are thirsty. You must cease your spiritual dehydration and begin to intentionally, consciously drink from this well, moment by moment, day by day. How do you do this? You do it by turning your attention inward and acknowledging His presence. You do it by asking Him to fill you, to refresh you, to empower you for the task at hand. You do it by yielding your will to His gentle guidance. Allow my Spirit to be your comforter, your counselor, and your guide. He is not a silent, impersonal force. He is a person, the third person of the Trinity, and He desires intimate fellowship with you. When you are grieving and your heart is shattered, stop trying to numb the pain with worldly distractions and instead ask the Comforter to sit with you in your sorrow and minister His healing presence to your soul. When you are confused and facing a decision you do not know how to make, stop polling all your friends for their opinions and instead ask the counselor to whisper my wisdom into your heart. When you feel lost and do not know which way to turn, stop frantically trying to figure it out on your own and instead ask the guide to illuminate the very next step on your path. This well will never run dry. It is not dependent on your feelings or your circumstances. It is an infinite spring. Thirst no more for the fleeting, unsatisfying pleasures of the world. They will only ever promise what they cannot deliver. Come to me. Drink deeply. Let my Spirit fill every dry and empty place within you until you are so full that my life begins to overflow from you, bringing refreshment to the thirsty world around you. My child, we have done the hard work of pulling the deep, bitter root of unforgiveness from the garden of your heart. You have released those who have wounded you. You have handed vengeance over to me. The prison door has been unlocked. Now, I command you to step out and learn to walk in the vast, open field of liberty that a forgiving heart provides. This is not just a one-time decision. It is a new way of life. Having released those old grudges, you must now embrace the daily freedom that choice has purchased for you. You must understand that a forgiving spirit is not a sign of weakness. It is your greatest strength and a prerequisite for receiving the fullness of my blessing. An unforgiving heart is a clogged pipe. My grace, my joy, my peace are all trying to flow to you and through you, but bitterness, resentment, and the memory of old wounds create a blockage. When you chose to forgive, you cleared the pipe. Now let my blessings flow. This new freedom will allow you to love your neighbor and even yourself in a way that was previously impossible. When your heart was a courtroom, constantly prosecuting old cases, you had no energy left for love. Every interaction was filtered through the lens of past hurts. You were defensive, suspicious, and quick to find fault because you were projecting your unresolved pain onto your present reality. But now that courtroom is closed, you can meet people where they are without the baggage of your past. You can move forward without the heavy chains of bitterness holding you back and slowing your pace. I want you to let mercy become the hallmark of your interactions, your new default response. I am calling you to the high and holy place of living unoffended. This does not mean you will never be hurt again. People will fail you. They will be selfish and unkind. Living in a broken world guarantees this. Living unoffended does not mean you are immune to pain. It means you make a preemptive decision not to take up and carry the offense. It means that when the arrow of a harsh word or a thoughtless action strikes you, you pull it out, you give the pain to me, you forgive the person immediately, and you refuse to let the wound become infected with bitterness. It is the practice of keeping short accounts. This is the source of profound joy. The life of keeping records of wrong is heavy, exhausting, and joyless. But the life of freely giving the mercy you have so freely received from me is light, energizing, and filled with a peace the world cannot comprehend. This is your new reality. Walk in it. Breathe the free air. Your heart is no longer a prison, but an open field where my love can grow. My beloved child, for your entire life, you have been building, but you have been building on sinking sand. The foundation of your life has been your own effort, your fluctuating feelings, your fragile understanding, and the fickle opinions of others. Every time a storm of life has come, a financial crisis, a health scare, a relational conflict, you have felt your entire world shake because your foundation was unstable. The time for that is over. The sinking sand is gone. Now, it is time to build your new life on the only foundation that is truly unshakable: my unchanging word and my eternal promises. This is not a suggestion. It is a command for your very survival and your ultimate flourishing. Stop building your life on anything less. I want you to understand what my promises are. They are not hopeful wishes or sentimental platitudes. They are cosmic certainties, forged in my unchanging character and sealed by the blood of my Son. In Him, all of my promises are yes and amen. They are more real and more reliable than the floor beneath your feet or the sun in the sky. This is where your faith must find its footing. You must learn to stand on my faithfulness, especially when your feelings are failing you. Your feelings are fickle friends. They are liars and traitors. They will tell you that you are alone, that you are a failure, that things will never get better. Your feelings are sand. My promises are rock. When you feel afraid, you must choose to stand on my promise that I will never leave you nor forsake you. When you feel weak and overwhelmed, you must stand on my promise that my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. When you feel confused about the future, you must stand on my promise that I will work all things together for your good. It is not enough to have a Bible collecting dust on your shelf. You must get my word into the foundation of your heart. Let it be a lamp to your feet in this new territory you are walking. I command you to memorize my truths so they become the automatic, instinctive response of your soul in a moment of crisis. When a wave of fear hits, a promise must rise up to meet it. When a lie of the enemy is whispered, my truth must be your immediate reply. This is how you build an unshakable life. The storms will still come. The winds will still blow. The rains will still fall. I have not promised you a life free of storms, but I have promised you this: if you build your life on the rock of my word, when the storms come, you will not be shaken. You will not collapse. You will stand firm. This is the security you have been searching for your entire life. It is not found in a bigger bank account or a safer neighborhood. It is found only here, in me and in my unchanging promises. Now begin to build. The foundation of my promises is now firmly in place, and the walls of your new life are beginning to rise. Can you see it? To stop listening now is to walk away from the very sanctuary your soul has longed for, leaving it unfinished and open to the storm. It would grieve my spirit to see you abandon such a glorious work. Let me show you the hopeful future I am building for you. My precious child, we have walked a long road together in this conversation. We have torn down the old, condemned structures of your past life. We have laid a new, solid foundation of my promises. Now, the final command of this season is this: look up and look forward. The past is over. I want you to stop looking in the rearview mirror of your life. The wreckage, the wrong turns, the missed exits, they are behind you, and they are shrinking in the distance. I command you to turn your full attention to the windshield, to the vast, open road I am laying out before you. A future of hope is unfolding before your very eyes. Listen to my heart for you. Hear this promise as if for the first time, not as a cliché, but as a personal, binding covenant from me to you. For I know the plans I have for you, declares your Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. This is my sworn oath to you. Your story does not end in failure. Your journey does not end in despair. It ends in hope. It ends in a glorious future that I have personally designed for you. You must challenge the pervasive, worldly lie that your best days are behind you. The world tells you that you peak, and then you begin the long, slow decline. But in my kingdom, the path of the righteous is like the light of dawn, which shines brighter and brighter until the full day. You go from glory to glory. Your best days are not in your past. They are ahead of you in me. This new beginning is not a fantasy or a self-help mantra. It is your blood-bought reality. It is what the sacrifice of my Son purchased for you. But you must walk into it. And I must warn you, do not despise the day of small beginnings on this new path. The changes may not feel dramatic at first. The new habits of rest, gratitude, and trust will feel awkward. The new landscape of hope may seem unfamiliar after so long in the wilderness of despair. This is normal. The mightiest oak tree begins as a tiny acorn, hidden in the dirt. Be patient with the process. Celebrate the small victories. Nurture the tiny green shoots of new life that are beginning to sprout in the garden of your heart. The most important thing is that you are now facing in the right direction. So walk forward. Walk with a new posture. Your shoulders back, your head held high, not in pride, but in a quiet, confident expectation of my goodness. Expect me to show up. Expect doors to open. Expect my favor to go before you. The past is truly over. Your future in me has just begun. Welcome to the rest of your life. My child, now that you have begun to walk in this new freedom, you may be tempted to hide the story of your past, to bury the evidence of your former bondage out of a lingering sense of shame. But I have a higher purpose for your story. Every single thing you have stopped doing, the anxious striving, the self-condemnation, the desperate need for control, will now become a powerful story of my grace in your life. Every place of your deepest shame will become a platform for my greatest glory. You understand? The very things the enemy intended to destroy you with are the very things I will now use to bring life and hope to others. Your past is not a liability. In my hands, it is your most powerful asset for ministry. It is the curriculum for the university of your testimony. You will overcome the enemy not just by the blood of the Lamb, but by the word of your testimony. My Son's blood provides the victory. Your story is the evidence you present in the courtroom of this world that the victory is real. Your freedom from chronic anxiety will become a tangible source of peace for someone else who is drowning in panic. When you tell them, "I used to be where you are, and God set me free," you are throwing them a lifeline of hope. Your release from the prison of your past failures will show others the incredible power of my redemption. You will be able to look a person in the eye who is convinced they are too broken to be loved and say with absolute authority, "I know that is a lie, because He redeemed me." Your testimony will dismantle the enemy's lies in the lives of others because you are living proof that I am a God who restores. So I command you, do not hide your scars. In this broken world, a display of perfect, unbroken pottery is unrelatable and intimidating. But a vessel that has been shattered and masterfully put back together, with the cracks sealed by gold, tells a story of redemption. Your scars are not signs of your weakness or your failure. They are monuments to my healing power, my faithfulness, and your incredible resilience. They prove that you were wounded, yes, but you were not destroyed. They prove that what was broken can be made whole and even more beautiful than before. I am turning your entire mess into a message. The chaotic, painful, shameful parts of your story are the very paragraphs that will resonate most deeply with a hurting world. So be brave. Be vulnerable. When I prompt you, share your story. Share what I have done. Your life is no longer just your own. It is a monument to my grace, a signpost of hope pointing others home to me. My beloved, let us look at the results of your two lives. Your old life of striving, even your best efforts for me, produced a harvest of thorns and thistles. It produced exhaustion, anxiety, strained relationships, inner turmoil, and a subtle but persistent bitterness. Now, as you learn to live in this new way, abiding, resting, and trusting in me, you will begin to bear a new kind of fruit. This is not something you have to strain or strive to produce. It is the natural, inevitable, effortless byproduct of my life flowing through you. A branch connected to the true vine does not have to grit its teeth and try harder to be more loving. It simply stays connected, and the life of the vine produces the fruit. The striving is over. The abiding has begun. And from this abiding, you will bear fruit that lasts. What is this fruit? It is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Let us make this real. A love that will grow in you is not a sentimental feeling, but a rugged, unconditional commitment to the good of others, even when they are unlovable. The joy will not be the fleeting happiness that depends on good circumstances, but a deep, resilient gladness rooted in my presence, a joy that can coexist with sorrow. The peace I have given you will guard your heart and mind. And patience. This is not just the ability to wait in a long line without complaining. It is the quiet, confident trust you will now show when my answer to your prayer is wait, believing that my timing is perfect. Kindness will flow from you, not as a strategy to get people to like you, but as a genuine overflow of the kindness I have shown you. And you must understand, this fruit is not primarily for your own consumption. It is meant to nourish and bring life to the hungry and hurting world around you. Your peace will calm the anxious hearts in your home. Your patience will be a healing balm in frustrating situations at your work. Your kindness will be a cup of cold water to a soul parched by the world's cruelty. Your faithfulness will be a rock for those who are surrounded by instability. Cease worrying about your legacy. Stop trying to build a monument to your own importance. A life that abides in me will naturally produce a lasting, fruitful legacy that brings glory to your Father in heaven. Your only job is to stay connected to me, the vine, I will handle the fruit production. Your life, which you once saw as so barren, is about to become a flourishing orchard. People will come and find rest in your shade and sustenance from your branches, and when they taste the sweetness of the fruit, they will know, without a doubt, that it came from me. My child, look around you. Listen to the frantic, fearful, and exhausted pulse of the world. It is a sea of anxiety, churning with conflict, worry, and relentless striving. For years, you were simply one more boat being tossed about on that sea, indistinguishable from all the others. But something has changed. You have dropped your anchor into the bedrock of my being. You have entered my rest. You have found my peace. Now, because you have received it, you are equipped to carry it. Today, I am giving you a new title and a new mission. You are now an ambassador of my peace to a restless and chaotic world. Your transformation was never just for you. It was for them. I am calling you to be a non-anxious presence in the midst of chaotic situations. What does this look like? In a heated meeting at your workplace, when voices are raised and tensions are high, you will be the one who does not add fuel to the fire. You will be the one who speaks with a quiet calm that de-escalates the conflict. In a family crisis, when panic is the default response, you will be the one who brings a steady, centered presence, not more panic. Your calm will be a silent, powerful testimony to the reality of the Prince of Peace who lives in you. People will not understand it. They will be drawn to it. They will see the storm raging around you, and they will see you standing, not in denial of the storm, but in a peace that is greater than the storm. And they will want to know your secret. You must remember this core principle: you cannot give away what you do not possess. For most of your life, you have been a net exporter of your own anxiety. You have leaked your stress onto your family, your friends, and your coworkers. But that is over. Now that you are learning to live in my peace, to inhale my grace, you have a new and precious commodity to share. You are now an importer of peace into every environment you enter. You are a part of my ministry of reconciliation. I am charging you to be intentional with this new role. Bring my calm to the tense atmosphere of your home. Bring my calm to the stressful environment of your workplace. Bring my calm to your community. This does not mean you have to preach a sermon in every situation. More often, it will mean simply being present, listening well, refusing to engage in gossip or panic, and embodying a quiet trust in me. Your inner state has a direct and powerful effect on your external environment. You are a thermostat, not a thermometer. You do not just reflect the temperature of the room. You have the power to set it. So go, my ambassador. Carry my peace into the broken places. Be my calm in the midst of the world's storm. My child, we have come to the end of this conversation, but it is also the beginning of everything. After all the commands to stop, after all the invitations to begin, after all the tearing down and the building up, we arrive here, at the one, final, foundational truth upon which everything else rests. The final word is not about your effort. It is not about your obedience. It is about my unending, unchanging, and unconditional love for you. This is the truth that remains when all else fades away. This is the bedrock beneath the bedrock. Let this sink into the deepest parts of your soul. Why did I command you to stop your anxious striving? It is because you are already and completely loved. You do not have to work for an acceptance that is already yours. Why did I command you to release your fear and anxiety? It is because my perfect love casts out all fear. You do not have to be afraid of a future that is held in the hands of a Father who adores you. Why did I command you to drop your shame and self-condemnation? It is because you are unconditionally loved. There is no mistake you can make, no failure so great that it could ever cause me to turn my heart from you. The striving is over because you are loved. The fear is over because you are loved. The shame is over because you are loved. This is the answer to every question, the solution to every problem, the healing for every wound. You must understand that this love I have for you is not a fleeting emotion that I feel for you. It is the very essence of who I am. I am love. It is the eternal, unchangeable reality upon which your entire existence is built. It is more real than your doubts, more powerful than your circumstances, and more enduring than your failures. It is the Alpha and the Omega of your story. Everything begins here, and everything ends here. So now, the final command is the simplest and most profound. Rest in this. Stop all your attempts to understand it fully, to deserve it, to repay it. You cannot. It is beyond you. Your only part is to receive it. So stop. It is over. Simply let me love you. Let my love be the air you breathe, the ground you walk on, the roof over your head. Let it define you, heal you, hold you, and carry you from this day forward into eternity. Be still, my beloved child, and know that I, your God, love you. My child, you now rest in the final word, my unending love for you. This love is the very bread of heaven, but countless souls are still starving in the darkness, convinced they are unloved orphans. If my heart in you compels you to reach them, then this is your holy moment. Your giving is not a transaction. It is you, sending this life-saving manna to a hungry world. You become the answer to my own question. How will they hear unless someone is sent? As you release this bread of my love, I declare that your own table will never be empty, and your own heart will overflow with my goodness. The harvest for this seed is eternal. Do not hesitate. Send forth my message of love now through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link waiting in the description. My child, this is a holy threshold, a line drawn in the sands of time for your soul. Do not cross it in silence. Let your voice join the resounding sound of shattering chains across the heavens. I have spoken your liberation. Now, I want you to claim it as your own. Make your stand against the old life by proclaiming with unshakable faith in the comments below, "It is over." Let this be the first defiant act of your newfound freedom and the seal upon this eternal word. Amen. If you believe in me, your heaven